But it was the 100-year anniversary for the band because it was founded in 1918. So there's a couple people who did
That's 11
videos and
it's
stuff.
11 years after John Marston's death.
Oh, there you go. But Greg Abbott made a video for that.
Pretty good.
It was kind of cool. Everyone, he was like, "God bless Texas." Everyone's like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
woo!"
You know how embarrassing that would have been if you'd lost and you made that video?
Maybe both of them made a video
It's
just
like-
in case.
So no, it's like, "Hi, I'm Governor Greg Abbott," but like you have to like edit it. So
Yeah,
it's like
so-
there's like a pause. It's like, "Hi, I'm former Governor Greg Abbott."
This is Twin Stick Radio, episode 44 for the week of November 13th, 2018. I'm one of your hosts, Trey Higgins, and I'm joined by Chris Rodriguez
Hello.
and Justin T. Lopez.
What's up, guys?
Hi, what's up?
I feel like my voice is getting nasalier the colder it gets.
Are
You
getting
guys tell
sick?
me if I'm wrong or not.
It does sound a little bit like,
Right?
like coldish.
Kind of like, and like the back of my throat's a little bit closed up. And
Yeah.
I felt it last week, and I feel it even more this week.
It's so cold right now. It's the Texas blizzard
It's
2018.
terrible. I hate it.
The blizzard. No, I love it. I think it's great. I had the windows open last night for a little while.
I'm starting to get to that point in my life because I grew up in Southern California.
It's hot.
I moved to Texas when I was 15, so I've spent
I forget that sometimes.
and I was born in New Mexico, so my entire 25 years of life have been in heat.
Yep.
And the older I get, the more I realize that the delusion I have about me loving the cold isn't actually true. It is in fact a real delusion.
No, mine's not a delusion. In
No,
any way,
I'm not
shape, or
saying
form.
yours is. I'm
No,
saying
just
mine
saying
specifically.
mine is not. Like 35 years of living in South Texas, I am 100% ready to live in Seattle, where it rains 90% of the time, and it's like 30 degrees.
I don't like the rain.
I
I can
love it.
I can deal with the
Love
cold.
the rain.
For me, I'm that type of person who during the summer I'm just like, man, I just can't wait for it to be cold. And then it's cold for a week and I'm like, this is awesome. And then it goes into 2 weeks and 3 weeks and I'm like, all right, I'm over it. It's too cold.
You're a millennial.
I am a
Yeah.
millennium.
You're a millennium. You're basically a millennial, but with the weather.
Right.
Yeah.
The summer doesn't really faze me that much anymore, like it used to when I first moved here. But I've started to get kind of used to
Oh,
it.
of course, sure.
Get used to it. Yeah.
But
If you've lived
anytime-
in Texas for more than 5 years, you're used to the heat. You just don't like. It's
you
just dumb.
You accept that you are going to start sweating after
the
being
moment
outside
you go
for
outside.
30
Yep.
seconds.
Oh, yeah.
But after 2 days of it being 30 degrees, it just it hurts.
Nope.
It hurts so bad.
I welcome it. It matches my stone cold heart.
To me, a good cold weather is 60 degrees.
Nope. That's not cold. That's
Perfect.
perfect.
That's Texas cold.
No, that's
Texas
that's
cold.
like a nice thin hoodie.
Yeah, if I have to
cold.
put on
Ooh.
any sort of hoodie, then it's cold.
I feel like
No,
you always
that's
wear a
not
hoodie.
true. There's
If I'm not
there's
sweating in a flannel,
there's
it's-
levels of jackets. There's a nice thin hoodie, 70 to 60 degrees.
Okay.
Anything but 50 to 40, it's kind of like a thicker hoodie.
Mm-hmm.
Anything below 40 to 30, you put the extra, denim jacket over the hoodie for that
No, I
extra.
feel like
And then you
40
get
is
into a
denim
parka.
jacket.
And I stop at the extra jacket over the hoodie.
I just don't go
Because-
out. You just don't go outside after that.
Well, no, you go. Because you got Wasselfest is coming up
Mm-hmm.
and all this other. So you have the extra jacket over the hoodie. Very supernatural looking,
Okay.
Dean
Yeah, yeah,
Winchester
yeah.
looking. But then past
Sure.
that, it's like I'm not. If it's 30 degrees outside, I'm not going to be outside for more than 5 minutes. So there's literally no reason to wear a huge ass jacket. Does that make sense?
Once it gets to 50, my little health thing from Red Dead is
It's
has the snowflake
got
on
the
it.
snowflake.
My core drops significantly.
Yeah.
Nope. I welcome the cold.
This weekend was super cold because we
You mean today was super cold?
Well, yes.
Today was the coldest out of the entire weekend.
yes, but
I don't think it got above 45 today.
on Saturday I was in Austin for Rooster Teeth's Extra Life stream, and we were doing a lot of stuff outside, and also we had a dunk tank where if people donated, we would dunk
Nope.
people.
What a horrible idea.
Terrible
It was-
idea.
It was awful. I didn't get dunked, but I got a little bit of splash, and I'm like, this is bad.
That's
I'm
terrible,
going back
man.
inside.
Yeah.
Hey, I forgot to. I was just going to move on, but how was Rooster Teeth Extra Life?
It was really fun. I was there from around 9:00 at night to about 6 in the morning. I worked one of the cameras. I was a camera operator.
I bet I know which one. It was the one that was real bad.
No, it was.
Yeah.
It was.
I wasn't the camera operator, Chris.
It was one that a lot of people made GIFs out of. I got some good angles.
I feel like you could say that even if the camera wasn't your camera.
No, but there was a couple times where something would happen.
Like I wouldn't know the difference.
There was something that would happen that like I would like follow like real nice, and people would put it on Reddit, and someone like people were tagging like praise the cameraman. And I was like, oh, like people were legitimately like, oh, that was really good. Whoever's operating that camera was really smooth on that transition.
I need you to collect proof because I don't believe you.
So
I will.
either that, or you found your calling in life as CO.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It was really. I really enjoyed it. I stayed there like an extra 2 hours getting to operate the camera.
Fun
fun.
stuff. Are you famous yet?
Sure. You know. You can find me
I think
on
his
Twin Stick Radio.
I think his D&D character is more famous than he is.
You're not wrong.
If you guys haven't listened to us before, we are a podcast about video games. We record every week, and we are up on Wednesdays. We are now on Spotify as well, so if you prefer
Yay.
listening to podcasts on Spotify, you can subscribe to us
If you prefer
there.
paying for your podcasts, subscribe to us on
There's
Spotify.
free Spotify.
Yeah. It actually really annoys me. This is something that's really annoying about Spotify, and I can't change this, but it's annoying. I was listening to the podcast on Spotify. I just went through a couple episodes and listened to like 15 to 20 minutes just to make sure they all sounded okay. And I realized that ads pop up as the podcast is playing.
Yep.
They don't play, but they pop up on the window,
Oh, okay.
which is really annoying to me. Like, don't put ads on my shit if I'm not getting paid for it. Even if only 3 people are watching it and I'm only going to get 4 cents, like, it's fucking bullshit to advertise
that's-
on my stuff.
Yeah, sure. I mean, then Twitch, stop putting ads on shit that we're not getting paid for.
I agree with that for Twitch, too.
Oh, okay. Never
Like,
mind.
like,
You don't get to say that, but okay.
yeah. Like YouTube, owned by Google, one of the most aggressive advertising companies in the entire world, it has like the integrity to not put ads on videos that aren't monetized,
Sure.
and that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, we start the show with the same segment every week. We've been talking about Red Dead and shit. Justin, what have you been playing?
Red Dead. Same as the past 2 weeks.
Have you been playing Red Dead?
Yes, actually.
How far are you?
I am in chapter 3.
Wow, it's not bad.
I was telling Chris.
Pretty bad.
I mean, it's
This
not.
game's been out for 3 weeks, and he's only
but
on the
like,
third
we're
chapter.
talking
But-
about Justin time, not real person time.
1, this is Justin time. 2, whenever I got to chapter 3, I made it a point to look at the trophy, and I was like, how many people have gotten this far? 51%.
That's a lot of
Yeah,
people.
that's a lot of people.
That's half.
Right.
That's out
a
of
lot of people.
like
Out of-
12 million
I'm
people.
in the
Nope.
top
17.
half.
17
7
million
million
people.
I'm
Red
in the
Dead
top.
Redemption has officially sold to stores 17 million. I don't think that's sold through. Either way,
I
let's
would
say
believe it sold through because it
let's
was
say-
12 million in the
sure.
the week.
Let's say
first
an
weekend.
estimate of 17 million. That means you're in 50. Yeah, that's not a lot. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's
take
not
it.
impressive.
I could be on the other end, which I was last week, but now I'm in the top 50%. Anyways, I'm having fun in roads.
No, you're in the bottom 51% because there was 51 people who finished chapter 3.
Yeah,
So you're in the bottom. You're in the 49% of the people that haven't got past chapter 3.
You haven't beat chapter 3. You
Yeah,
beat chapter 2.
yes.
Now you're in chapter
Right.
3.
So you're in the bottom half of that threshold.
You're part
I'm-
of the 49% of people that did not beat chapter 3.
I'm part of the 51% of people who have beat chapter 2.
Sure. Fine.
Glass half full, man. Anyways, I'm having fun in roads. It's fun.
Score right there.
It's fun, kind of acting like a good guy. Yeah, it's a nice change.
Yeah.
of pace.
So you're in the part of the game. God damn it! I wish I had somebody to talk to you about this game.
Patience, Grasshopper.
He wants to do a spoiler cast because he's done,
It's
I'm fit. I'm all the way. I've through both epilogues and
wonder-
everything.
and I already said that if you guys finish
Hey.
before me, you guys are more than welcome
I'll
to
look
do a
it
do you have
spoiler
the app on your
cast.
phone? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll look
see
it up real quick.
see what percentage of people have actually beat the game.
Okay.
Because
I don't think a lot of people have because I
well, I
haven't.
mean,
I
I would
haven't.
guess out of the 17 million people, my guess is that it's less than 10%.
I have. Oh yeah, I would definitely say less than 10%. I haven't seen a whole lot of articles posted about.
8.5. 8.5%
10%.
is that the.
Yeah.
Hashtag Game Jesus.
I've got one. My rarest trophy so far is 1.4%, 1.2%. Nope, 0.4% is my
0.4.
rarest.
Is it
my
a
rarest
spoiler?
trophy. No.
Oh, what is it?
To find all the graves.
Oh, okay.
You said find all the graves?
That's my rarest trophy right now is 0.4%.
That's pretty good. I stumbled upon the UFO Easter egg. That was kind of neat.
You should be careful about spoilers on that stuff because he didn't know about it and he had beat the game.
I didn't know about it. I just found Trey was like,
He
didn't tell me about it.
Easter egg spoilers?
No, not really. But we stumbled upon it and it was pretty wild.
I just feel
It was cool.
I feel like it's one of those things that's like when you stumble on it, it's really cool.
Yeah,
I didn't say how to get there, but I stumbled upon it.
I don't know. I wouldn't even if I didn't see it. I don't think I'd be upset about it because it's 3 weeks out. Like, I don't know. That's a long ass time for somebody to beat a game. I don't know.
I don't feel that way. I mean, for me, the amount of hours that I assume I put into this game, because go figure, it doesn't have a fucking hour tracker.
Sure, but you also got all the way to chapter 2 and started over.
Yeah, exactly. So but
if you didn't do that, you probably would have been to the epilogue.
Is that when you?
I doubt that.
Is that when you started over?
I mean, I didn't finish chapter 2. I was like halfway through chapter 2.
I don't. I bet you'd already been to the epilogue because chapter 5's like that.
Is it?
Oh, it's quick.
Well, I think I'm getting here's the other issue too is that like you told me today that there were stranger missions that you didn't finish.
I'm assuming now that those stranger missions pop up after the game is over with, and there's a reason they pop up after the game is over with.
You were saying that there were just ones that you weren't able to get to.
Oh yes, yeah.
And so now, anytime I see a stranger mission, like I immediately focus on that because I don't want to have to. I've only been using one save, which is not smart, but like, but here's like in 2018, the fact that there are missable fucking trophies and stuff like that.
That's good.
I don't think that's good.
I think that's great.
I think that's for as long of a game as this is. Like it'd be one thing if it was fucking Call of Duty with a 4-hour campaign, but it just seems stupid that it's like, oh, you missed this thing, we don't warn you about it, and now you can't do this thing unless you decide to go back.
I don't think that's stupid. We had that as a topic. We were going to do that as a topic as one week. Trophies being Spider-Man easy are not okay. Like they're trophies for a reason. You know, there's something that you need to go hunt. Mm-hmm. I think it's fine that there's something that you miss, but you know that's why you create. Multiple saves.
With Spider-Man, the trophies are easy because they're easy. Whereas like
they're
super
easy.
Red Dead, they with the exception of the missable stuff, those trophies are easy, but they take a commitment.
Sure, of course.
Like with Spider-Man's a fucking 30-hour game.
Sure.
With the platinum.
But then again, they're not that easy. Like these challenges I'm doing, some of the challenges they're tough.
True.
Like the one where I have to disarm 3 dudes. Like, god damn, I've been trying that since chapter 4. Man, I just can't get it done. But you know.
That's
Are you still working on that challenge?
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
I'm still on that fucking challenge. I just can't. I can't get it done. It's crazy.
Can you not? Does it have to be like not in Deadeye?
Well,
you can't reload.
You can't reload your weapon. You have to disarm 3 guys without reloading your weapon. And unfortunately, if you do use Deadeye like I do, going in and out of Deadeye, every time you activate Deadeye, it reloads your weapon.
Why don't you just stay in Deadeye?
Because you have to have that means you have to wait until 3 dudes are right in front of you, all 3 with their guns out, and then that way you can. And then it takes a while because you can't mark a gun. You could
have to mark their hand.
You have to mark their hand, but then you might run the risk of actually killing them because that happens quite often.
True.
Shooting somebody in the hand will kill a guy. It's not easy. That one's the hardest one so far. The rest are just time consuming, like catch fucking 19-pound fishes
or completely based on luck. Like the gamblers said.
Yeah, sure, exactly.
But yeah, I've been playing that too.
Yeah, I think we all.
I mean, obviously we all have. It's good. It's
taken over the world.
Yeah, it's to the point now where like the open world stuff is really great. It's still awesome. I still want to do it all. But that's probably the lowest reason why I keep coming back to this game.
Is the open world?
And not in a bad. I don't mean that in a negative way, but the story stuff is so good. That even though I'm always interacting with the open world stuff because of the amount of space kind of between things.
You're saying that's just it's
not
that it's
not
bad.
A priority.
It's not a priority. Got
it.
To me, that is a priority. To be honest with you, this open world is fucking amazing.
Well, yeah, because you beat the game, but there was a point over the weekend where you were super into the story, and that's what you were doing.
Of course, but like, there's a reason it took me, 100 hours to beat the main story is because I did all the open world stuff. When I actually beat the story and got to the 100% total completion, my actual total completion was like at 88% because I had taken so much time in the open world to do everything not do everything, but do just a shit ton of stuff.
Yeah.
I had out of the, I don't know how many legendary animals there are. Let's say 15, right? I don't know.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Out of the 15 legendary animals, I had, almost 9 to 10 of them already hunted by the end of the game. And those take, I don't know, 20 minutes to hunt those things down just because of the clues you have to follow.
Well,
and
I definitely don't play the game like you. Like, I would probably guess that when I finish the game, like, I'll be lucky if I'm at 65 or 70%.
Sure, yeah.
But with the amount of time that I had spent, prior
Sure.
to where I'm at in chapter 4, I'm now at that point where I'm like, I just want to get through the story. 'Cause
Sure,
it's just getting. It's always been good, chapters 1, 2, 3. They're all great, but it's as it starts to pick up steam, and as you start to figure out people's motivations a little bit more, it just gets. And even then, I'm barely scratching the surface on that. It's moved up to my priority rather than
5's going to slow it down. But there's a reason 5 exists. It just slows down hard.
But it's short though, right?
It's very short. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just that was my. What did I say? There was a point where I was like,
just like a slump.
Yeah, it was like a slump.
slowdown.
I still feel that way about chapter 5.
I think that's where you were at last week when we were talking.
Yeah,
about
I still feel that way about chapter 5 even after finishing the game. But after finishing the game, I understand why chapter 5 is there now.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. At the time, it's just like, this is dumb. This whole thing that's happening right now is just dumb. But after finishing it, there's points in chapter 5 where it's like, okay, that needed to be in this game, and I understand why now.
One thing that I think is less than elegant about their storytelling so far is the way that kind of 2, 3, and 4 all have such a similar beginning that by the time that it's happening in 4, I'm just kind of a little bit over it. Where it's, I don't want to spoil anything, but they all are kind of just like in a different world. They each could have been their own game. As part of the series.
I guess to an extent, but the way each chapter opens, every single time that move happens, it's a little bit more dire every single time.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit more emphasis on the urgency of that move and the urgency of the safe bubble, right? So I think I agree, right? I agree that it's weird that it starts every time, but the fact that there is so much more of a dire situation every single time, it makes it to me, it made it not as cumbersome.
It's not the transition that bothers me. It's more the laying out the foundation of kind of this new area where each time you're kind of doing the same thing for the first couple like story missions.
Sure.
Casing the joint and figuring out what's going on in this town and all that. That's the part that gets old. I think you're definitely right. Those transitions always feel important, but I feel like the fact that like it turns into a thing where we're like, how are we gonna make money in this town? Do this, and that. I think that slows down the pacing in such a significant way where it's just like, that was a really cool transition, but now I have to wait for payoff.
I was telling Trey, before we move on, this has taken over my number 2 of all time. Hands down, number 2 game of all time.
Well, what was your number 2?
KOTOR.
I thought KOTOR was number 1.
No, KOTOR's number 1.
Yeah, what did it take over?
Oh, I'm sorry, Dragon Age Origins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know Origins.
KOTOR, Red Dead 1, Red Dead 2, Dragon Age Origins.
Nice.
Is your 4 New Vegas?
Yeah. If I had to really sit down and arrange stuff, let's say 5. So we'll do KOTOR, Red Dead 2, Origins, New Vegas. 5 would be tough because it would have to be either like Mass Effect 3,
KOTOR, Red Dead, Inquisition, New Vegas.
No, Origins, not Inquisition.
Oh, you said Inquisition the first time. I'm
sorry, Origins.
Okay.
The first Dragon Age.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Number 5 is a huge toss-up between Mass Effect 2, Dragon Age Origins, KOTOR 2, Red Dead 1, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. It's a shit ton of games that like are really hard to like decide what I would put in that last
If
spot.
I put a gun to your head, what's your first thought?
Fuck. It's seriously, for me, like gun to my head, first thing would be San Andreas, but I know that's wrong.
Yeah.
I don't feel like San Andreas is a better game than Mass Effect 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to me, I felt I had more connection to San Andreas than I did at the time, right? There was more. I don't know.
We talked about this a little bit during the weekend though, because like if you really take Red Dead and compare it to KOTOR, the reality is that Red Dead is objectively a far better
game than KOTOR.
But there's a certain room, especially in a top 5 list, because it's literally the most subjective thing in the world.
Right.
But there's room for nostalgia to exist on that list.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the perfect example is we talked about like how cool Revan and Malak are in KOTOR 1. However, you can't relate to Revan or Malak. You just can't. He's a Jedi Knight who found this all-powerful thing where he became a Sith Lord, and then this apprentice came and blew him. You can't relate to that. But you know who I can relate to on such a huge level is Arthur fucking Morgan. Mm-hmm. Like, I am Arthur Morgan. Arthur thinks he's an asshole, but the people around him know he's not, and they believe in him, and they tell him, like, you know what, you are a good person. It's like, nope, I'm a bad guy. Yeah. I say that shit all the time. But then Trey's always like, no, you're actually a good person because you care about the people you love. It's like, okay, I get it, but I'm still an asshole. I'm still a bad guy.
I don't think I've ever heard Trey say that.
Yeah,
I don't compliment him in front of people.
Exactly. But my point being is, like, I in Red Dead Redemption, like, if the nostalgic factor wasn't there for Star Wars and KOTOR, it would have easily been my number one, because I can take so many characters in that game and I can relate to them on personal and friendship levels. So like I told Trey, John Marston in Red Dead 2 is Trey. I see Trey and John Marston in every way, shape, and form, because he's looking for, and this is not in a negative way, he's looking for affirmation from Abigail and Jack. And he's always, trying to do the right thing because that's what he believes in. I see Everett and Charles, the Indian, the half Native American, half black guy. I see Everett and Charles because Charles's first number one priority in every way, sense, and form is his integrity. Mm-hmm. And we just had this conversation with Everett the other day.
And fun fact, Everett is half Native American, half black.
Yeah.
So
16th Native American, 18th black. But I can take a bunch of my friends and I could take a bunch of my friends and I can put them in these roles, and I see them, right? I see Sandy and Sadie. I see Sadie and Sandy and Whitney, and I see, to an extent, I see you and Lenny, and then that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Okay. And it's like it's.
I prefer Sean.
No, you're nothing like Sean.
Sean's kind of an asshat,
but he's clever.
But I watch this story unfold, and I relate to these characters in so many freaking ways that I've never related to a video game character before. And I'll say this. I said this as a trade. This story is hands down the best narrative ever told in a video game. Well, that's subjective, of course, but it is hands down the best narrative, the best story I have ever seen in a video game.
I mean, that's subjective, but honestly, from friends who casually play video games who are playing this game, just kind of all across the board, that seems like that's a very popular opinion, that this game is, quote, a masterpiece.
But it's not, though. That's the crazy thing, because if you after I finished the game, I finally raised the blackout curtain of the internet and started listening to podcasts, and I can't tell you how divided the video game industry is in this game. Huh. Like, it's amazing. Just Kind of Funny alone, listening to the Kind of Funny like pre-review or post, what do they call it, the in-review thing. Greg Miller does not like this game. He just doesn't like it. One of the other guys, Andy Cortez? Yeah, he's not a huge fan of it. And then you go to other places, like some people just aren't fans of it. Kotaku's like bashing it because that's what Kotaku does, because it's not SJW enough. And so many people, there's just a weird split in this game. Mm-hmm. And to me, at least in my own, maybe narcissistic head, that makes this game so much more special, because I don't want to say that some of these people aren't recognizing the fact that how good this game is, but they're so used to the video game industry that we're in, let them dictate the video game, that there's not enough room for people just to enjoy a very good and extremely well-told story, because those don't exist in games a lot anymore. Mm-hmm. You don't get games where it's just a narrative that drives you forward. You have to have this choice, right? Well, I don't want to play Arthur as a bad guy, but Arthur is a bad guy. You don't get that choice. Sure, the honor system's there, but that's such a secondary thing. Arthur Morgan, Dutch Vanderlyn, and that gang are bad people, and they're telling a story about bad people. So the fact that you don't like it, that's fine. Some people don't like Star Wars The Last Jedi, But you
But
you
they're
don't
wrong.
Sure, but you don't get to dictate the story of Star Wars, just like you don't get to dictate the story of Red Dead Redemption. And I think, to me, it makes this game so much more special that it is so divided.
Well, I mean, part of the thing that I really love about it and what we talked about is that it is, I mean, you touched on it a little bit, but I think that like there's a very important adjective in that it's grounded. It's more grounded than almost any other game that's ever come out.
Even more so than like GTA.
Well, especially more so than GTA. We were comparing GTA 5 to this story, and I think the thing that we kind of came up with is like Franklin could be relatable, but he gets thrown into like this wacky world and he just accepts it. Trevor is absolutely not relatable. Michael, to me, is an interesting character because he's the only sane person in this crazy fucking world, and you get to see him go through horrible shit because of it. But the more important lesson that people should be learning from this game, regardless of whether or not they like who Arthur is as a character or they dislike the fact that they have no control over that, is that there is room in video game narrative for a story that people can relate to. Like, I have never been a cowboy. You drop me in the wilderness for 5 minutes and tell me that I need to survive and I will probably die.
These are facts.
But yeah. The sky is blue and Trey has no survival instincts.
But he's like, oh, puppy, that's a wolf.
But I relate to these characters and I see myself in them. I see people that I know and love in these characters. And that's something that like realistically, like I can be like, oh, Chris is a lot like Solus from Dragon Age Inquisition. That's probably not the best comparison.
Sure, no, but it's
but really he's not like really like those. It's such an off the wall, like stereotypical fantasy character that's not there. So why can't you take characters like Arthur or that are built like Arthur and Sadie and Dutch and throw them into a game like Mass Effect? Like, why do our protagonists in video games have to be so unrelatable that we kind of just have to pretend that they're real people?
Sure, because again, I think it is because it's like, I think a lot of people, and Greg touched on this in one of the podcasts I listened to, like, he just doesn't like playing Arthur because he is bad. Because every time Greg plays a video game, he wants to play the hero, right? And in video games, since the beginning of fucking video game time in 1985, that's what you do. Mario is the hero. Link is the hero, right? Fast forward, Shepard is the hero, right? The Inquisitor is the hero. Everybody's the hero in video games. Mega Man, hero. Spyro, hero. Crash, they're all heroes. And finally, and even in GTA, right? Franklin's kind of the hero in this because he's keeping everything together. But finally, in this game, we're actually playing bad guys.
Yeah.
We're playing bad guys, not in a stereotypical weird way like Overlord, where you do play the bad guy, but it's just like this dumb, like, goblin Overlord game. But like in this one, you literally are. You are playing the bad guy. And guess who loses in every single story? The bad guys. And it's so good. It's so fucking good.
But then there's that part of me, though, that like it's hard for me to reconcile the word bad guy with these characters. Like, sure, they're not good people. Sure, they do illegal things. But if I think about things that I've done in other video games, I don't know that my Inquisitor, even though he was complete paragon or completely good, I don't know that he's technically a better guy than Arthur Morgan.
Sure, possibly.
Like, I mean, every protagonist in a video game, there are these white knights and the best people in the world, and they're saving the princess and doing this and that. Meanwhile, they're committing mass genocide.
Sure,
Mario is stomping out little brown mushroom people, but he's still the good guy.
Sure, but
what did Goombas do to him? Okay?
Yeah, seriously. Sure, but I think in a because this game is so leans so heavily. This game leans so heavily on realism or the reality of the world. I don't want to say realism because in a shootout, you're not killing 90 people in one shootout. It's
you can't slow-mo time.
Yeah, the most famed gunslinger of all time probably had like 5 kills to his name in real life. So you're not killing 45 people in one shootout. But this game that's so based in a reality that the reality is that the Pinkertons are the good guys, right? You know, like
Well-
in a reality-based world, the Pinkertons really are the good guys.
but-
They're the ones that are going for law and order, you know, law and order, blah, 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 whatever. But, you know...
But I think the realism is what lends itself to the idea that you know, Dutch's gang aren't bad guys.
Sure, yeah,
because
yeah,
in
that too.
in a,
Because
real,
there's-
in
because
a
it's
real
gray.
world,
Sure.
there's gray.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where these characters exist, and that's okay. Like, sure, they're I don't think they're white or black.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they're good guys. I wouldn't say they're
Sure,
bad
of
guys. They're
course,
just people
of
trying
course,
to survive.
of course.
And it's the same way with the quote good guys. Like
Yeah.
the Pinkertons, they might be the good guys. They might be striving to do the right thing, but they're not good people.
Sure, exactly. Yeah. They're everybody's gray here, and man, I want to do a spoiler cast so
We will.
bad because like I just want to talk about how good Dutch is.
Yeah.
Dutch's character is probably the best written character of all fucking time. Anyway,
Before we move
Good
on,
God.
you said your top 5 list. Justin, what's your top 5 list?
Oh man,
I don't think we've ever talked about this on the podcast.
it's
And
hard, man. Like if we I'd want to revisit this as like a topic one day, so I could really sit down and list the reasons these are my top 5.
Yeah.
But off the top of your head, top 5. And you can't say Rocket League.
You
Or
can't say
Overwatch.
can't.
You can't say Overwatch either.
You can't say Overwatch.
I feel like I would need some time to get 5. I know
Let's
for
do
su-
3.
for
Let's do
su-
3.
For sure. And in no particular order, Fable 2 has to be on there for me.
See, that's another one, man. Fable. That's I can't.
Fable 2,
Easily could be in my top 5.
Fable
man.
2's story,
Gosh.
playing through Fable 2, that was one of the first times that I can remember in a game that like legitimately like made me cry and feel like emotions.
Fable 2.
Fable 2 is the one where you had like the dog and
I know
everything.
what Fable 2 is. I've put many hours into this game, but why cry in Fable 2?
Whenever it gets to the point, and spoilers for Fable 2.
Be careful.
This has only been, a decade.
Yeah. Whenever it gets near the end of the story and you kind of, it gets to the point where you're going to go out on that, not a ship, that construct that's
Sure.
being made.
Yeah.
And you have to, it's basically like, hey, once you go on this mission, you're not going to come back.
Sure, there's no turning back.
So
Right.
just say bye to your wife and your
Right.
kids if you have them or
right.
whatever. And then you go off and do that. And then you find out that, like your family's dead. They've
Mm-hmm.
you've been stuck over there for years. You're old. And then you have to make the decision of like, do I wish for my family to come back?
Sure.
Do I wish for everyone else's families to come
Yeah,
back?
or
It
the
was just,
world,
it was a morality
money.
decision that
Sure.
I just was not
Yeah,
prepared
yeah.
for.
Okay.
Literally the easiest decision ever, because my Fable guy, although he was married, had probably fucked everyone in the entire game. So it was
I
the
was-
dog.
Nope.
That's funny.
No.
So Fable 2,
I was
just
a
do
one
3.
I was a one woman man. in
Just
Fable
do
2.
3. Fable 2.
So Fable 2. I mean, it's recent, but
That's okay.
For me, I mean-
Red Dead Redemption 2 came out 3 weeks ago.
that's true.
Also, it's not how hardcore of a gamer are you. That's
Right.
not like, I'm asking you because I genuinely want to know, like, what are the 5 best games that you've ever played
Yeah.
in your opinion? I don't need you to like try to
Yeah.
impress the people out there. Like, why doesn't he have a retro game?
yeah,
from
why
the
isn't
Atari on there?
Chrono Cross on his list, right?
Chrono Cross, not Chrono Trigger? Come on, Chris.
Chrono
How
Cross,
hardcore
no,
are
Chrono
we?
Cross was really good.
Yeah, Chrono Trigger's better according to the internet.
Oh, here we go.
Chrono Cross was good.
I mean, I would probably
Fine,
have
if
to
we're
put,
gonna do that, Radiata Stories is in my top 5.
Wait, how is a Kingdom Hearts game not in your top 5? Really?
That's the thing. It's really hard, dude.
Yeah.
It's really
No
fucking
Kingdom
hard.
Hearts or
no,
Final Fantasy?
Final Fantasy, no. Kingdom
I wouldn't
Hearts.
put Final Fantasy.
That's the thing. Kingdom Hearts could be 5.
I would-
Kingdom Hearts probably 5.
Which one? For me,
2. Hands
Okay,
down
yeah,
2.
yeah. So
feel like
I
that's
was
a
gonna say
popular
in my top 3, maybe 5, I would say Kingdom Hearts 2. And
Not
then
Kingdom Hearts 3040th day over 6.
over 6 divided by 3, carry the Y.
0.5.
Mod 4.
Yeah.
And I'll have to put Spider-Man on there. This most recent Spider-Man.
Interesting.
It was really good. And first platinum. It's got to
Yeah, no,
it's
that's
gotta hold that.
it's a dude.
spot.
Your top list, the nostalgic factors, it has to be there.
Yep.
Because again, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a better game than KOTOR, but KOTOR, it's gonna be real hard to dethrone KOTOR for me because that game was special to me.
Yeah.
So,
I'm surprised that Red Dead's made it here too.
it's
I'm
so
not
good.
surprised.
I'm not
but
surprised.
It's just the
It's cool.
the story did it, man. The story just fucking God.
It's not surprising to me because the way that you'd love GTA 5, not necessarily the story, but the world
Yeah,
and
yeah.
multiplayer. Like, I think the fact that it has this kind of story and it totally appeals to you.
Sure,
like
yeah.
if you had asked me a month ago, like, do you think this game will be in Chris's top 5? I probably would have said yes.
Plus, it's the time period is I've been told by multiple people that I was born in the wrong time period. If any time period, I should have been born in that time period, just because of my mannerisms. Maybe not the fact that like I'm not a huge fan of the outdoors, but my mannerisms, I would have fit in very well at the turn of the century. So
I would imagine if you were born then, you'd be a fan of the outdoors.
of course.
Like, how could you not?
Yeah, there's no. Yeah, of course.
You have no option.
I am a fan of the outdoors. Like fishing's probably one of my favorite things in the world. I just never get around to go do it.
Except in Red Dead.
Red Dead. Yeah, shooting. I love going outdoors and shooting. Anyway.
Yeah.
Did anyone play anything else other than Red Dead?
I did want to briefly talk about Pokemon Go. Not in any significant way, but they released the Adventure Sync beta update last week.
Is this for Let's
No,
Go?
it's-
Or
no, it's just for
what is-
For
like,
Pokemon Go.
Oh,
Pokemon-
running it in the background,
Yeah,
right?
Well,
That's
no,
what
no,
it is?
no.
You don't
It-
even have to run in the background. It counts your pedometer.
Yeah, most phones have a built-in pedometer. You sync the app to the pedometer, and then it calculates the steps that you're actually taking in the real world into the game.
Every time you open
And-
Pokemon, it'll calculate steps.
As the most like casual player in our group of friends of Pokemon Go, this is such an essential feature of the game that it is completely ridiculous that it wasn't in there at launch.
Everything about Pokemon Go is ridiculous.
I know, but like, I just can't believe. Like, part of me,
Sure, of course.
part of me believed that they couldn't do it, and that's why they didn't do it.
Maybe.
But it's so stupid. It's so stupid that it wasn't there.
I tell Whitney all the time, the more I play Pokemon Go, which I play 3 times a week, I'll open it, right? The more I play this game, the more I realize Niantic has no idea what they're doing when it comes to a video game. They just don't.
Is it like somewhat infuriating that the only Pokemon that are going to work with Let's Go are
Kanto
Gen 1?
regions, yeah.
It just seems so.
Yep, I agree.
At
100%.
least the Alolan versions work too. I mean, that's
Yeah, but
kinda-
they're still Kanto.
Yeah, but
I mean, they
that's-
are, but yeah.
That's still like 170 out of 600.
Yes, it's a little infuriating, but you know what?
Yeah.
Whitney's a Pokemon thing, and Whitney's going to enjoy the shit. I know she's going to love Pokemon Go, so Pokemon Let's Go. So we're
Yeah.
good. I'm good.
All right, yeah, that's all I want to say about that. You guys ready for the news?
Nope.
Yeah, Trey, do you want to do the news?
Yeah, let's do it. First up, in a pre-launch blog post for Fallout 76, Bethesda gave some hints about the future content for the game. Quote, "We have an incredible list of updates we've begun working on, from camp building, improvements, new quests and events, new vault openings, character respecking, a faction-based PvP system, and much more," end quote. Aside from the small hint, Bethesda hasn't revealed much more information than that.
The faction-based PvP system sounds kind of neat.
I don't know what this means. Maybe you have
No
more
clue.
insight.
No, I don't.
But new vault openings?
I think they've already said there's only in Fallout lore, 76 is the first vault to ever open. 30 years after the bombs drop, right? I'm assuming new vault openings means that it's a possibility that other vaults are going to start opening and populating the world. Whether or not those are going to be players, I seriously doubt it. But it may be story-based events of other vaults opening.
My first thought was, maybe it'll give you additional places where you can start the game out at.
Possibly.
But my second thought was, like, what if this is the conceit they make for putting NPCs in the game?
Other vaults come out.
Yeah, like
Sure.
the vault's open. Occasionally you see people walking around, but
Sure.
anytime you go in the vault, it disables your weapons, and that's where you
Sure.
can talk to people and hang
Sure,
out.
yeah, possibly.
I could see that.
That would drive me to the game if that
Yeah,
ends
sure,
up being the
possibly.
I
case.
feel like that makes the
'cause-
most sense.
Because, that is I'm not a huge shill for this game. I'm still excited about it. It's just it's coming out at just a terrible time. Because let's be honest, I'm going to play Red Dead Online before I play Fallout 76.
Yeah.
So there's no point in spending money on it yet. Plus Pokemon comes out. So Whitney, I even asked Whitney. She's like, I don't want Pokemon. I don't want Fallout right now. I want Pokemon. It's like, okay, well there we go. But I am a shill when it comes to the idea of why there's no NPCs in this game, right? I love the idea that Bethesda's sticking to the whole lore reason for there not being NPCs. However, I wish there were NPCs, and I agree with you. I think this is a very good way to get NPCs into this
Yeah.
game. So
That would be the first thing that
Yeah.
would like kind of encourage me to pick it up.
Sure.
Because I've kind of just resigned myself, like, eventually I'll pick it up, but not until like there's significant updates. But if a month from now they're like, hey, this vault opened and go talk to these people,
Sure.
fuck, all right,
Yeah,
day 30th purchase.
Do you think that
the PvP system too?
Do you think that Fallout 76 should have pushed back their launch
No.
away from Red Dead?
No.
You don't think so?
I think because, like I said, I've said this before. Fallout 76 was made for people still playing Fallout 4, and people still playing Fallout 4 have gotten 76 day one. That's just the way it is.
So, Todd Howard and the gang have have done some interviews about Fallout 76.
Like Scooby and the gang.
Yeah,
Todd Howard's a stupid ascot.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, Pete Hines is Shaggy.
Yep. They've done, like, Todd Howard especially has done some interviews, and in a recent interview, I can't remember who it was with. They kind of asked him, like, hey, why did you guys reveal Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 so soon? It doesn't seem like something you would do. And Todd Howard basically said, like, the reason why we did this is because we knew we were announcing Fallout 76, and we knew people were going to be mad about it, and we didn't want them to assume that, like, this was the future of our games.
Blizzard.
Yeah. And the funny thing about just interviews kind of around that time and after that, it seems like Blizzard is very excited to stop talking about this game.
Bethesda, not Blizzard.
Oh yeah, Bethesda shit.
Yeah.
Bethesda, and not in like they're going to stop talking to their community, but I think they're done talking to the press about it.
They're done marketing this game.
Because I think that
Done marketing 76?
76.
I just kind of get the impression, and this is complete conjecture, there's no fact behind this, but I kind of just get the impression that they're sick of defending it. Like,
sure.
They know that this is going to appeal to a very specific group, and a lot of people are not going to love this, and that's fine with them because they think they can grow that player base, or that player base is sustainable, which they're right.
Yeah.
But
you got to have a little bit of respect for that. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. And that's how you get a good game.
Absolutely.
Like that's what ESO did.
Yep.
So I think they're just kind of sick of like defending it to the press, which I can
Good.
see.
I can too. However, I did also read a tweet from somebody. I don't know how true this is, but they said that ES6 and Starfield are both being made in the same creation engine Bethesda's been using for the last 10 years.
I saw that.
Still in Gamebryo.
I saw that news story too.
Kind of hurts the heart a little bit. I would have hoped I'd done something and not use Gamebryo, because look at Fallout 76.
There's no reason to. People still buy Skyrim. People still buy Fallout 4.
That's true. That's very true.
Still are buying 76.
That's true.
I guess. But in 2020, 2021,
that's a huge point for a lot of people. It's like you look at Fallout 76, albeit it's an online game, but you look at Fallout 76, which comes out after Red Dead Redemption, and look at those two games. Hell, let's even compare 76 to Red Dead Online. Red Dead Online is not going to look anywhere near as good as a single player does. Grand Theft Auto 5 was a perfect example of that. Still going to look really good, but it's not going to look as good as single player. However, if you were to put both those two side by side, Fallout 76 and Red Dead Online,
which
it's like fucking it's like freaking chicken and eggs. It's like, holy shit, man.
it looks like a 10-year difference.
Gosh.
And it's sad too, because the conceits they had to make to make that game work for multiplayer.
Sure.
Even if you compare 76 to 4,
Yep.
it looks not great.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Some parts of the game do look a little bit better. God rays and lighting looks a little bit better in 76, but yeah,
General textures and water looks like trash.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But that's a conceit they had to make for being an online game.
But
there's a reason WoW still looks the way it does.
But I wonder if they had worked on a specific engine for this game, or if they had tried something new,
or if they
would have had to made the same conceits,
or if they just would have, instead of making it a Bethesda home game, you went to ZeniMax and said, "Hey, take your ESO engine and make Fallout."
Yeah.
Oh.
That's
Just make them kind of the online.
Yeah, man. Make ZeniMax they're killing it with ESO, man. ESO's great. I'd say it's up there with WoW as far as like funability.
Yeah.
Sure. I'd say it's up there with WoW when it comes to having fun in an MMO, including Guild Wars and stuff like that. Like, it's great. And I think a true Fallout MMO would have been, God, fucking awesome. Anyway.
Next up. In a report from Torrent Freak. Wow, I need to like read like a person. Jacob and Christian. No, I think that's weird.
Girl.
I thought it was a girl too, but that's how it was spelled. Because I double checked it.
It could be a
Yeah, sure.
name. Yeah, sure.
Jacob and Christian Mathis, the couple behind Love Retro and Love ROMs, appear to have agreed to a consent judgment with Nintendo. The unsigned document reads, "Plaintiff is hereby awarded judgment against all defendants, jointly and This is the same word they used on the fucking thing because I double checked it. Severally.
Severally or
It means like
Several.
together and separate, jointly and
hey,
severally.
-2 intelligence. Get the hell out of here.
I rolled
In
a
the
20.
amount of $12,230,000. End quote. The couple has agreed to a permanent injunction preventing them from breaching Nintendo copyright again, handing over ownership of both sides of the developer website, and handing over all Nintendo games and emulators. So basically, these two, I would assume, regular people owe Nintendo $12 million for their ROM sites.
Shouldn't have broken the law. Like, that sucks, but Jesus Christ.
Got to make an example.
Yeah.
Well,
I
and
guess.
that's what people are assuming. They're assuming the number's so high to like discourage people
Sure.
from doing it. Here's a problem though. Nintendo could come to me and they could sue me for $12 million.
But you didn't do anything wrong.
Let's assume I did.
Okay.
Right. Let's assume I did something wrong. Nintendo sues me for $12 million.
Broke the law.
Yeah,
Wrong.
sure. I could live 50 lifetimes and probably never be able to pay them off.
Of course.
I don't think that.
The funny thing about that number is I just wonder, I know shit about legalese, but I wonder if that, like, what that number actually means in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I
like,
have no idea.
How does this affect these people that I assume can't pay it back?
I have no clue.
I would imagine that Nintendo doesn't fully expect them to ever like just pay that back. Like they might. I mean, they're already turning
So
over.
out-
They're already turning over all of their emulators and whatnot.
So my thought would be out of court. Nintendo would be like, hey, you were an example. You still owe us X amount, but it's not 12 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think out of court, Nintendo is going to say something like that. But this official number has to be shown for the trays who want to try doing more ROMs and enemy. You know what I mean? That way nobody does it. I would
Got a little
assume,
Arthur Morgan in my blood.
Yeah, I would assume, but I don't know. I mean, again, Nintendo may want 12 million, and legally, if they don't finish paying it, it goes to the kids, and then the kids, and then the kids, and I think it's like 5 generations before debt.
Oh,
settled.
really? I didn't
I
know
think
that.
they could
I
also.
think.
I mean, they could also
Could be wrong.
take pretty much their belongings too, right? Like, wouldn't they have to like liquidate?
Sure. But
yeah,
like-
it depends if that like IRS can, but I don't know if just like a legal
Just
court
anybody?
dispute can,
Well,
yeah.
like, even if they could.
I don't think Nintendo could just take their house.
This is
even
ours
if
now.
even if they could, like, you could. My grandparents and my parents are very well off people. They've worked their entire lives and they've earned everything that they own. But they could liquidate all of their assets and I
still
guarantee
not have
you
12 million?
It'd be lucky if it was 2 million.
Yeah.
Not that I have a specific number. That was not a correct estimate. They could be whatever number, and I wouldn't know.
Trey's rich. That's all. That's all
At
there is
least
to
they
know.
have each other.
Yeah, I guess.
I'll never let go, Jack, unless somebody gives me $12 million.
And then I'll probably let go.
Then we'll talk.
It appears as though Valve may be working on a VR headset. According to Upload VR's sources, leaked images of a VR headset that were posted to Imgur appeared to be a prototype version of a future Valve device. The headset will feature a 135-degree field of view and will come with new Knuckles motion controllers. 2 cameras and integrated headphones may also be included with the device. It also appears as though the game will come bundled with a Half-Life VR game, though it probably won't be Half-Life 3.
Let it go, people.
I know. No offense, Valve, but I mean, if anybody's going to succeed in it, it's going to be Valve. But I don't think anybody's going to care about this.
I don't think people will care unless I kind of. This is gonna sound stupid, and I don't really care. I don't care. I've never played Half-Life. I have no horse in this race.
Have you really never played any of the Half-Lives?
I own
They're
them
good
all.
games. They're
I
good
own them
games.
all on Steam because they were on sale for like $1.
It takes like 10 hours to beat one.
I know, but I bought them like a year ago, and at
okay.
this point, it's been so much time
Sure.
that I don't know if it's worth it.
Sure.
You should just not play it out of protest now. Just
But I have no horse in this race. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. But for a really long time, Valve has talked about how they have been waiting for some sort of new technology to put Half-Life 3 on. And that's part of the reason why they've been holding back. It's probably bullshit. But if I feel like if Half-Life 3 were to come out on anything, it would be a Valve VR headset. Not only to encourage sales, but also because It sounds like something Stuck Up Valve would do. No
Yeah,
offense,
possibly.
Valve. Love you.
No,
but you're
no,
stuck up.
no, definitely offense because it's true. Like all you do is make money and you don't share it with anybody, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You're
And
Valve.
that's not me getting anyone's hopes up. I don't believe that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Sure,
if
it's
that
like
were
pie in the
case.
sky type thing. Speaking of horses, what are you gonna name your horse in Grand Theft Auto Online?
Grand Theft
Like
Auto
your
Online?
I'm sorry, Red Dead Online. Your first horse you get in Red Dead Online. What's its name gonna be?
Murdoch, probably.
See, that's a good horse
That's
name.
what my horse's name is right now.
Way to go, dude! I'm
Were
very
you
impressed.
pressured into
Boy
making
names are
a
so much easier
I'm
than girl
very
names.
impressed.
And
That's
up
a
until
good name for a
Murdoch,
horse.
all of my horses were girls.
That's a very good name for a horse.
Winchester?
Are you sure you're not Appleseed?
Yeah, no, I would stick with Appleseed.
That is not original in any way, shape, or form.
Which one?
But that,
What, Appleseed?
yeah, well, Appleseed is not original. Isn't there already? Isn't there a movie of a horse named Appleseed?
I'm gonna be real disappointed if that's where you got that from.
No.
I feel like there's like a racehorse, like a famous racehorse.
There's
named Appleseed.
there's Johnny Appleseed.
No, that's a weird God Christian guy who thought about apples. and, like,
God,
is he a
Christian
Christian
guy.
Yeah, Johnny Appleseed. Yeah, he's the guy that loved
talking
apples
about
so
more
much
of
that he took apple seeds and planted them all around these towns to show a seed can feed hundreds.
Right.
And it's the parallel between Jesus and Christianity.
And my horse Appleseed.
Can
if I
feed
am
millions.
stuck, if I am stuck in the mountains,
Can feed-
and need to survive,
Can it feed 5,000 though?
he will feed me.
Question.
As far as I can tell, Appleseed is not a horse.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
That's not bad.
Completely
That is-
original.
Yeah, very good.
But that's like a 2-second Google thing.
Okay.
What were you going to name your horse?
Wayward Son.
Wayward Son?
Yeah,
That's the name
nice.
of your current horse. Yeah.
Oh, clever. Going with the supernatural stuff. Still,
All
huh?
my horses have been supernatural
Oh.
based.
Speaking of
You're
horses,
not gonna name it just Baby.
I thought about that, but it's too. It's not.
It's
it's
too ambiguous.
no, not ambiguous. It's too. It's not ambiguous enough for me.
Okay.
So like I did Wayward Son. I named another one Kansas. I named another one Winchester because Winchester can be like, oh, like Trey, who he
Thought it was
came
a
in.
gun.
He thought it was a gun. It's like, well, there you go. It's the gun. It's not. It was not Dean and Sam Winchester. And then another one was Ruby. Ruby's only in the show for maybe 2 or 3 seasons, so not a ton of people remember her.
but then you got come here, baby.
Yeah, exactly. But baby, yeah, no. So
just feel weird.
Wayward Son is going to be my first.
real
horse.
quick sidebar, because this episode is going to be 4 hours long anyways. So I have come to the conclusion that the White Arabian horse is the worst horse in Red Dead Redemption because it's
100%
so
agree.
temperamental. It's almost impossible to control. I constantly run into
100%
shit,
agree.
constantly gets mad. I was running, and I just had a day where I'd been playing for like 3 or 4 hours, and it had ran into like 30,000 trees. Finally, I ran into a tree.
Every tree in the game.
Yeah, every tree. I probably hit every tree with that fucking horse. I got so pissed that I turned around and punched my horse and then moved away before it kicked me. And it was intentional, and I meant it, but I hate that fucking horse. So the next thing I did was as soon as Chapter 4 started, I went to Saint Denis and bought a new horse.
Yeah.
Because
And now
I
you love that
fucking
horse,
hate that
right?
horse. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you
I-
sell it? Your Arabian
No, I
horse?
still have it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's worth about.
I
I
told-
think it's worth like $700.
I told Chris that every time I go to the stables, I think about selling it. But now I have a cool Nakota who's has a black head and a black butt
yeah.
that's speckled in the middle.
Yeah, so
That's Murdoch.
I love the fact that, and it's such a minor thing, but you see all these YouTube and Reddit posts. It's like the White Arabian's the best horse you can find in the wild, and the Black Arabian and the Bay. I think it's called the Bay. The Arabian horse is the best horse in the game. It's like, no, they're not. Maybe for you they are, but I really like the fact that he likes the Nakota. My favorite one right now I have is the what did I call it? What's it called?
Wayward Son.
No.
Oh, I don't know what kind of horse it is.
Yeah, fuck.
It has one of those weird names. It's not
It's a very weird name. But for a little while, it was the Turco Man, but I finally settled on a horse that I really fucking like. I just can't remember the name of it.
I'm fine with my basic horse. I've never been riding my horse and just been like,
That's
I
'cause you
want
just don't know.
something different.
If the horse was black and white at the beginning, I probably never would have gotten rid of it.
Yeah.
But I don't. I wanted a black and white horse, and there
I'm
was brown.
downloading
and
the
I'm not
app so I
doing
can
that.
see if I can see what kind of horse.
Next up, Digital Foundry has revealed that Sony released an updated PS4 Pro that is quieter than previous models of the system without telling anybody. In a test using God of War, Digital Foundry discovered that the new model ran quieter than the updated model from 2017, which ran quieter than the original 2016 model. The reason for the lack of noise comes
The
from
Pro or the original PS4? Okay.
The reason for the lack of noise comes from a new type of power supply that uses the standard figure 8 style that is used in the PS4 Slim. Consumers can tell if they have the updated version from previous models by looking for the CUH 7200 model number before buying, or just by looking at their fucking model number. So you actually might have it.
It's a possibility.
I would guess that you do.
I would hope so.
Let's talk about the original PlayStation 4s and how sometimes when I'm playing Red Dead Redemption, it sounds like a damn airplane.
Oh, yeah. It started with, I first noticed it with Forsaken. And
Forsaken, really?
Forsaken, yep.
Huh.
And occasionally, like, it gets that way with Red Dead.
Interesting.
Sometimes I have to just stop playing for a little while. And it's not that the it's not that the PS4 gets overheated, because I'm checking the temperature. But it's because you can touch it.
Oh, you just okay.
Yeah.
It's like, do you have like one of those like laser pointer temperature gauges?
I put on my heat goggles. No, but I know it's not getting hot, but I just feel like the fan's getting worn out. But you know,
I never noticed mine, so maybe it is one of the really quiet ones.
Well, I mean, you also have a Pro.
Yeah,
so I would hope that a 2014 model PS4 would. No, 2014 because it came out in 2013. 2014 model PS4, I would hope it would be louder than a 2018 PS4 Pro.
You would think.
That was a great sentence I just had there. Just a run-on of me figuring stuff out. What'd you say, Chris?
I said nailed it.
Nailed it.
I can't remember my Rockstar Social Club username.
I just found out that my Arthur Morgan is underweight.
Good luck fucking keeping your goddamn weight up, dude. It's impossible to not be underweight in this damn game.
Yeah.
And I will eat like 19 steaks a day and he will still be underweight. That's my rant.
All right. Only one of you can be on the phone at a time.
I'm listening.
I need someone to pay attention.
I'm paying attention.
Put your phone down.
It's his turn. It's the notes.
After a 3-week quest, the Destiny 2 community has finally discovered how to earn Thunderlord. The final quest step for Master Ives' murder mystery takes players back to a familiar space from Destiny 1. Upon finishing the mission, the player will earn an exotic engram from the murdered Master Ives, and it will decrypt into Thunderlord.
This sounds like something that
Yeah.
Chris should have had his phone for.
No, I mean, I heard the whole thing.
Okay,
I
cool.
don't. I said it last week. I just don't care anymore. I wish I cared.
Is it a freeing feeling now? Do you feel free?
No, I'm actually starting to feel more like Trey did last week. About like not playing Destiny and how
You
it's
feel
kind of like
sad?
an end of it. No, not sad.
Oh.
I don't have the capability of feeling sad. Huh?
Just feels like an end of an era.
Yeah, it feels like the end of an era. Like I haven't thought about Destiny once. When I sit down to turn on my PlayStation, like Destiny is in the far back recesses of my mind, where normally it was like, you know, when Forsaken launched, it was like super excited and was like, oh, I guess I'll log into Destiny for a little while.
I think it helps that your friends moved along though too. Like if TJ and whoever else you used to play with, if they like hit you up and were like, "Hey, we're gonna play Destiny," like you'd probably hop on.
Yeah, but the issue is they didn't move along. That's the problem.
Well, no, they just stopped.
Yeah, they just stopped playing because they can't play because Destiny's not a game for them anymore.
I'm going to put a pin in this part of the conversation because this next thing applies to what we're talking about right now. Also, this is a hashtag Game Jesus moment. In an investor's call, Activision said that it is disappointed with Destiny 2 Forsaken. As a result, the company is looking for faster content drops and additional monetization revenues. In the call, Activision COO Cody Johnson said that the publisher believes
Does
that
he
players...
really have 2 Ds in his name?
Yes, that's correct.
What a douche.
Believes that players just aren't coming back to the game. Quote, "We have not yet seen the full core re-engage in Destiny, which led to the underperformance against expectations to date. Some players are in, quote, wait and see mode. If you're in, you're deeply engaged. If not, we think now's the time to bring players back," end quote. In response, Bungie's Luke Smith tweeted, quote, "We are not disappointed with Forsaken. We set out to build a game that Destiny players would love, and at Bungie, we love it too. Building Destiny for players who love it is and will remain our focus going forward," end quote. Which we figured this out. We figured this out, you know, shortly after launch when we were looking at the trophies. It's very apparent that, I mean, it all depends on sale numbers, but last we checked, it was like, what, less than 10% of people had completed the Forsaken campaign?
Oh, yeah, like an estimate? Sure. Yeah.
Well, based off the trophy. Of all Destiny 2 players, it
Right,
was
that's
a
the
very low
that's the
number.
problem is all Destiny 2 players, which includes people that probably haven't bought Forsaken.
Yeah. So we saw this coming from a mile away, and I don't know that necessarily means that it's. I don't know that it necessarily means that it didn't sell well. It just means that it didn't meet Activision's expectations.
Sure, but this just proves again, right? Because Blizzard is Activision, Activision is Blizzard. This just proves again that the upper echelon of Activision doesn't understand how to re-engage players, because he literally says right here, he's like, we think players aren't engaged, so how are we going to fix this? We're going to add more money for them to spend
by rushing content and adding
by rushing
more
content and more monetization revenues, which probably means microtransactions.
Yep. I mean, we saw it last week with the whole rebuying exotic stuff.
Yeah, it just proved another headline this week just proves that Activision, the upper echelon or the upper CEO, they just don't understand how to re-engage players.
How do those two statements even go together? How, like,
which two statements?
The
one's from Bungie, one's from Activision.
But what I'm saying is, like, how is adding those things, rushing content and adding monetization revenues, going to bring people back?
Because
it's not going to bring people back. You're just going to make money off. You're going to make more money off the people that are still playing.
Because what he's actually saying is, we're probably not going to get the people back that haven't bought it already. So instead, we need to milk the current players for everything they're worth.
Sure. Or he actually does believe that adding more ways to spend money in the game will bring players back. I think we live in a world where they actually believe that. They legitimately believe if we add more things for them to buy, they will come back and play this game.
Man, I don't know if I necessarily believe that anymore since they dropped the season 1 season pass. Shit, the game's been free on pretty much every platform except for Xbox. I don't know that they really. I don't know that they have faith. I think they're trying to just convince people to buy it.
Maybe,
but they also know that, like, the dados and the hardcore people out there going to buy every DLC pack,
but they don't buy any of it.
I meant more like that sort of player.
Oh, I understand. Okay.
Yeah. To be fair, you're right.
Yeah, I was gonna say YouTube and Twitch guys, they don't buy this shit. They just get it off. Bungie just throws it their way and they lands in their lab and like, okay, I guess so.
But those kind of players,
sure,
will buy whatever.
Yeah, you're right. The guys that are posting every day on Destiny 2's subreddit will be there.
Yep.
Yeah, which is fine. That's good. Good for them. Mm-hmm. Hey, play what you love playing. That's the crux of video games. Just play what you love playing. Not crux is a terrible word. It's a backbone of video games.
Crucifix.
There you go.
That crucifix. There you go. That's a better word. It's a crucifix of video games.
Is it?
No, the crucifix of video games is playing games where your friends are, but you really don't like the game, but you just play it because your friends are there.
Yeah.
That's a crucifixion of video games.
It's deep.
Yeah.
Speaking of games I don't like, Riot Games, the studio behind League of Legends, has been sued by one current and one former employee for, quote, endemic gender-based discrimination and fostering a inner, quote, men-first environment, end quote. This lawsuit follows an investigation by Kotaku that explored the sexist culture at Riot. The class action lawsuit states that, again, quote, like many of Riot Games' female employees, plaintiffs have been denied equal pay and found their careers stifled because they are women. Moreover,
we're not laughing at the women. It says plaintiffs, not plaintiffs.
Yeah. Moreover, plaintiffs have also seen their working conditions negatively impacted because of the ongoing sexual harassment, misconduct, and bias, which predominate the sexually hostile working environment of Riot Games, end quote. I don't know. I mean, I guess, like, my first thought is good for them.
Sure.
Like, in a very positive, non-sarcastic way.
Sure.
But I still don't know how far this is going to move the industry forward.
I don't think it's meant to. I hope they're not using it as a means to move the industry forward, because this isn't the best way to do it.
I don't think they are, but I think games media is
okay.
is
Sure. Like, I think you're right. I think, man, God damn it. Kotaku, whatever.
Go ahead. Do it.
There's an article about Red Dead Redemption on Kotaku, just hard bashing the game because it's too masculine and the NPCs aren't real and they don't feel real and they're all just. I want to find this article. I just watched a YouTube video about the article and some dude's impressions on the article, but I honestly can't find the article. I want to read it for myself so I can actually form an opinion. But it doesn't surprise me that articles like this are coming out of Kotaku because it's Kotaku. Kotaku is the fucking ultimate SJW media device for video games.
I feel like Polygon actually is.
I feel like it's Kotaku more than Polygon, man.
I don't know. Polygon.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is it from Polygon?
It is from Polygon.
That's probably why you can't find it.
Yeah, it is from Polygon. No, I think
Because
it's
he's looking for Kotaku
maybe
articles.
it's
and
because
it's
I
like,
am.
find
Okay,
it.
yeah, anyway. But yeah, it's just I agree with you. I don't think these women who are doing the suing, the plaintiffs or the flaintiffs, are using this as a means to get ahead or anything like that. I think they're doing this. I think they're doing the right thing, especially speaking up because. I mean, we know that movement. We know how hard it is for people to actually speak up, especially anybody. I say people, not just women, right? People who have been wronged in so many ways. It's hard to speak up. So the fact that they are speaking was good. Hopefully I don't want to say odds. Hopefully the freaking law and our judicial system is in their favor.
Uh-huh.
Or at least in favor of the right? I don't want to say maybe they're wrong. I don't know.
right.
They are headquartered in California, so I feel like Riot has a decent chance of losing.
Sure. Anyway, hopefully it settles nice. Not
It's a tough situation.
Dumb. It is a dumb situation.
Especially in these sorts of communities or careers where it's like if you give yourself a bad name, like you get blacklisted,
Sure,
and
yeah.
then you just don't work anywhere.
Yep.
It sucks.
Yep.
That's why it's so hard for people to talk out.
Yep.
So.
But yeah, I don't. I hope the media doesn't take this and run with it like they have tried to over the last year or so with this kind of stuff. It doesn't need to be blasted all over the media because blasting it all over the media brings both sides out, and then it's just a giant clusterfuck of a fucking comment section, right? It never settles anything. So we'll see what happens.
I found one of the articles. This one's literally talking. It doesn't seem to be like talking about masculinity, but
No,
it is.
there's one that I need to find the YouTube. Anyway, we'll look at it later. Maybe we'll bring it for show and tell next week.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Microsoft's is it XO18?
Yeah, XO18.
Okay,
Actually, it's probably ZO18.
ZO18. Yeah,
Yeah.
Xbox 118. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep.
Never would have the PlayStation guys right here, everybody.
Yeah.
Never.
Well, speaking of being a PlayStation guy, I had no idea that this was happening at all, which tells you how disconnected I was.
Sure,
from this.
yeah. I had no idea either.
This happened during the weekend, and a bunch of announcements came.
Was this supposed to be like PlayStation's like PS? What is it? What is
PSX?
the thing called? PSX? Is that what this is supposed to be?
I don't know if it was an actual. I think it was an actual convention, but I
Oh,
don't
it
know
was
that
just-
it was kind of at the same level as
Oh,
PSX
was it like a
usually is.
treehouse?
I guess.
was-
Yeah.
Okay, I have no
I
idea.
think it was
I have
bigger
no
than
clue.
that.
I have no fucking.
Because
clue
it was
what
in
this
like I think this one was in Mexico City, so it was like locations, kind
It
of
was
like
in
people would
Mexico
go
City?
to. I think so.
Someone Google that.
Actually, you know what? I believe you because I remember seeing the graphic on Twitter. I 100% believe you.
I typed in XO18, and then Google says Mexico City.
Cool.
Well, yeah.
That seems like a weird place.
I could also type in what's the best in Google, and then I would get the most random sentences in the world. So
Long story short, they announced a couple of new things. It wasn't a big deal, but it was interesting.
this first one's a big deal.
Yeah. First up, Microsoft has acquired Obsidian Entertainment and In Exile. Both studios are known for RPG development.
What's In Exile? Refresh me. I know the name. I just
meant
can't
to look
remember
this
think
up
of a
beforehand,
game.
but I figured you would know.
Okay, no, I'll get it.
Obsidian's not a huge surprise because we reported on that a little while
Yeah.
ago.
That
Wasteland
had
2.
already happened, right?
Oh,
shit.
okay, very good.
Did they really?
That's
That's
That is
crazy.
100% who it is.
That's absolutely crazy.
So they picked up probably the two best developers of top-down isometric RPGs on the market right now.
Well, I actually forgot to put this in the news. I knew I fucking missed something. There was a report that.
Are they going to get Larian?
Talk about this for a second.
Okay,
I want to
so-
pull up exact numbers.
So my statement for those of you not in the know, top-down isometric RPGs, Obsidian just released Pillars of Eternity 2,
Right.
which is very, very heavily involved with like the Critical Role and the D&D thing. In Exile in 2015, 2016, something like that, released kind of like a resurrected top-down RPG called Wasteland and Wasteland 2, which is very, very good. It's It's a good Fallout clone. It's very much post-apocalyptic, and you have those characters that very Fallout-esque.
They're the ones that made I want to say they made a Pathfinder game too, didn't they?
In Exile, no, I don't. I know. Fuck, who made? I think Paizo made the Pathfinder game. I think, could be wrong. Anyway, did they pick up Larian too?
No,
okay.
This is what I wanted to report on. I totally forgot to put this in. According to sources, Pillars of Eternity 2 has flopped harder than hard.
What?
And numbers seem to point towards Obsidian simply not being able to recoup the investment made by those who invested finances in the making of Deadfire. According to a tweet by Dylan Holmes, one of the said investors who put in $1,000 towards helping create Pillars of Eternity 2, the game has sold no more than about 110,000 copies.
No.
And the period since its release all the way to September. This calculation is brought about by Holmes' initial investment and the fact that his first dividends are now coming in a measly $192, which the break even for investors being 580K sales at $50, it quickly becomes apparent that there is virtually no way for Obsidian to recoup the money that has gone into making Deadfire.
Unless Microsoft gives it to him now.
Since Obsidian must have known how poorly their game is performing from the very start, this puts the rumor of them being acquired by Microsoft in a whole new light, a sad turn of events to be true. This is from Game Watcher.
I guess in a certain light, it's a sad turn of events. However, I think Microsoft will bail them out, number one, because they have unlimited amounts of money. And number two, I feel like now with Microsoft behind somebody, as long as they believe in Obsidian, like I think people should, because they make phenomenal games, there won't be any more of this, like, oh, well, we need to kickstart. You know what I mean?
I don't know. So I don't know how they crowdfunded the game. But most
Kickstarter,
of the...
I'm pretty sure it's Kickstarter.
I don't think... I want to say it's Indiegogo, because Kickstarter doesn't allow you to invest.
Sure, maybe.
But regardless, most of these platforms that you do kickstart or contribute to a game's development, they have rules in there that basically say that the developer isn't necessarily required to pay back the amount that you invested into the game. So the reality of that is that even if Pillars of Eternity 2 has only sold 110,000 copies, Obsidian should have been able to pay for development through crowdfunding. So I don't necessarily know that they're in trouble. But this goes back to what I said when this rumor first started going around. It's especially now that they've acquired In Exile 2, which is another great developer. I just don't know that these are two studios that necessarily fit in a AAA space right now. And I really am worried because they're two studios that for, a lot of their games in most recent years have been crowdfunded, and that's how they've been kept alive.
They can be two studios that fit into the AAA space as long as they are managed correctly and are put on games that can succeed in a AAA space. Does that make sense?
Well, but then they're not Obsidian in Exile.
Sure they
anymore.
are. I mean, Obsidian's not Fallout New Vegas. I'm not saying Microsoft get Bethesda to get Obsidian on another Fallout game, but Obsidian also was KOTOR and Fallout New Vegas. Giving them an engine to work with or giving them a property to work with, I think they excel at. Because I think Fallout New Vegas is hands down their best game they've ever made, even more so than Pillars of Eternity and Pillars of Eternity 2. So if Microsoft has something that they're just waiting to resurrect, i.e. maybe Fable, you know what I mean? Give it to Obsidian and let them just run with it.
Maybe.
I think this is a better outcome than just getting bought out and then just shut down.
Well,
that's
kind of what I'm saying.
Right. That's what he's saying. That it might be headed to that.
Because, all rumors seem to be pointing to Fable being with Playground, the guys that make Forza.
Yes.
I think that there's a weird world where Obsidian and In Exile exist.
And they jointly work on Fable.
Maybe. But they both make very specific games for very specific audiences. And those games...
Recently.
I would say that the fact Obsidian exists as it does today and is actually still a studio because of Pillars of Eternity and crowdfunding. If it wasn't for crowdfunding and that game specifically, they probably would have been shut down way before.
After New Vegas.
Which is in, I know that from Jason Schreier's book, Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, which is a really cool read. Everyone should go read that. But I feel like you can take the studios, and I'm sure that they can make a great RPG that kind of appeals to a more mass audience and fits in the AAA space. But then you risk ostracizing their fans.
Sure.
The people that have supported this. And I don't necessarily know that Microsoft cares about that, or that In Exile or Obsidian care about that. But on the other hand, you take Microsoft, which I think they're willing to do this because they're in a place where they can't really be choosers, where you allow these guys to make the kind of games that they have been making, and then you see them flop. Not because the games aren't good, but because they don't appeal to the casual player out there.
Especially the people that own Xboxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the people that own Xboxes couldn't give two shits about Wasteland 2 or Pillars of Eternity.
And you see that with Fallout New Vegas, I think, amongst like, people like us that sit around and talk about video games and listen to podcasts about video games. I think we love it, but I from what I remember in high school, a lot of like casual gamers didn't like it.
Just too deep.
Yeah,
I heard too deep
much.
quite often. Yeah. Same thing. It's the same thing with Red Dead. It's too much. Red Dead's too much for a lot of people, and it's they wanted Red Dead 1 just bigger, and that's not what Red Dead 2 is. It's definitely not. But yeah. There's
with Microsoft dipping more into the PC realm too, this could help these two companies as well.
Sure, yeah. I mean, keep them alive on PC. Yeah, that's a thing that could happen. I don't know. We'll have to see.
I think I want to keep Chris's optimism though.
Sure, I would. Yeah, I mean, that's pie in the sky, man. But yeah, now that I think about it, I would love to see Obsidian take over the Fable franchise. Holy shit, that'd be great.
Well, ideally, as a fan, I'd love to see them make a Pillars of Eternity style game.
Sure.
With a AAA budget.
Or, yeah.
I just know that like that wouldn't sell to the casual guy that hates Red Dead because they can get cold.
Or Microsoft's in freaking love beds with Bethesda. Man, let's pull Obsidian in. Hey, Bethesda, give us Fallout 4 engine, Obsidian. Here's this. Xbox exclusive. Unfortunately, I would buy an Xbox for this. Xbox exclusive, Fallout 4, St. New Orleans, or whatever that was, right? I think that's just a recipe for fucking money, to be completely honest with you. But
I hope so, but Bethesda...
yeah, whatever Bethesda decides to do, man.
Because realistically, like, we were talking about this... I don't know if I said this on last week's episode, but episode 50 is going to be the first podcast of the new year.
Right.
We're going to make that our game of the year, talking about our predictions from 2018.
Twin Stickies.
No.
And Twin Stickies.
No.
Predictions from 2018 and then 2019 predictions. But one of Chris's predictions from this year was it's very complicated, but and I'll have exact wording when we do it. But basically, it came down to like there might be another Fallout this year, and it's going to be Fallout New Vegas style, and it's going to be set in New Orleans, and it's going to be great, and this and that. And that, to me, as not a multiplayer guy, like to me, that sounds like a way smarter idea than Fallout 76.
Sure.
But of course, Bethesda didn't do the smart thing. They made, I mean, I'm sure Fallout 76 will do well, but they made Fallout 76 instead of the thing that would have sold to literally everyone.
Sure. And, trend would say that now we'll never see Fallout 5 for probably 7 to 8 years, because you've still got Starfield and ESO 6 or Elder Scrolls 6 coming out before Fallout 5 ever will. Mm-hmm. Fallout 5, home-based Bethesda game. But that does not mean that somebody like Obsidian couldn't make another Fallout. You know what I mean?
Definitely, but...
Will it happen? Probably not, but it's just, it's the possibilities there. Sorry, we need to move forward. Crackdown 3 is not coming out.
We're actually making pretty good
Crackdown
time.
3 is not coming out in February.
It's only 7:20. Crackdown 3 will be releasing on February 15th, 2019.
Nope.
And it will feature a new multiplayer mode centered around destruction.
Nope. Why do you think it won't?
Just
because Crackdown 3?
It probably will. It's probably going to be Crackdown 2, just kind of like up-res, and they're going to trick people into it.
With Terry Crews.
With Terry Crews. I don't know. Sure, Crackdown 3 will come out in February. It's just come on, man. You canceled Scalebound, but kept Crackdown. Come on, guys.
Well, let's be real. Crackdown would probably sell better than Scalebound.
No, it's not. Maybe because of Terry Crews.
And also because of because of anime.
Spice guy. Sure. It's the Old Spice guy.
No, Scalebound came out on PS4.
Scalebound would sell great on PS4.
Yes, it would.
And now we have Games Pass, so Crackdown 3 is going to do great.
Speaking of Games Pass, Games Pass will be getting 16 more games in the coming months and into next year. Some of those titles include PUBG, Ori and the Blind Forest, an amazing game if you like Metroidvanias, and its sequel.
Good for them.
Yeah.
PUBG is going to be on Game Pass.
Which I think is a really good idea.
Sure, I think it's a great idea. They don't need to sell 10 million more units. They'll just give it away for free, sort of.
The first wave of keyboard and mouse supported games have been revealed. One title being Fortnite, of course.
It's so terrible, man.
I watched how it's going to work. Apparently, there's input detection. You will if you're playing on Xbox, if you're using a mouse and keyboard, you'll be playing against people using mouse and keyboard.
Good shit, Xbox. Way to be there with that.
So
yeah,
that's good, man.
Can't wait for all these people to say that I have an Xbox PC.
that's just a fucking clusterfuck waiting to happen if you put control against keyboard, mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 13 is now on backwards compatibility.
What? Final Fantasy 13 wasn't backwards compatible?
Apparently not.
The shitty one with lightning? That's not shitty. It's just not that great.
It was the predecessor to the hit perfect game Final Fantasy 13-2. Lightning returns.
And Final Fantasy 13-3, Lightning does some cool shit again?
Yeah.
Well, I forgot what the third one was. There's 3 of them, right?
They're basically the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
Final Fantasy
Except
universe.
it's hot pink-haired chicks instead of hot old Italian guys.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sea of Thieves, the arena update, will add a PvP mode where players will fight for loot.
Sounds terrible. It sounds like the most annoying thing ever.
Just Cause 4 has a new trailer focused around weaponized weather, which I gotta say,
have you seen this thing?
Yes. Here's the thing, though.
Such ridiculous.
Just Cause games always look really cool.
Yeah.
But they always come out in fucking December, and it's literally the worst time.
The worst time for
I
it to come out.
forget that this game comes out on a weekly basis. But this game is coming out on a weekly basis.
But Just Cause 4, Just Cause never does not sell well. Even though it does come out in December, it's just the rest of us who are playing other things just completely forget about it. It never doesn't sell well.
I never hear that it hasn't sold well. But I also feel like I haven't heard proof that it does sell well.
I think it sells well when it comes out. Like,
let's just
first
pay attention
week.
to the NPDs in January.
Yeah.
Let's just pay attention to it, see what the hell. However, there are fire tornadoes in this game, dude.
Look.
You can shoot rockets into the tornado and see the rocket like float around and then go shoot something else. It's ridiculous.
I'll admit, not a huge Just Cause fan. I don't know what it is about this one, but I feel like anytime there's like a trailer or an announcement, it revolves around the weather system of this game.
Because I think that's the big thing.
Is that
now.
just the thing for
It's
this, or what?
basically Just Cause 4, super cool, awesome weather.
Yeah.
Sharknado?
I was going to say shitty weather, but that sounds
No,
bad.
Sharknado.
Just crazy weather.
It's because
What
Just
if
Cause.
you can make Sharknado?
I would put money on that you
because
could.
Just Cause 1 was actually a fairly good GTA clone.
Yeah.
Just Cause 2 got a little Saints Row-esque and got a little crazy. Then Just Cause 3 came out a few years ago, and it's just like you can strap people to your little rocket launchers and see them fly and do weird shit to cows and strap rockets to their udders and then literally see the udders flop around. It's weird. It's a weird-ass game. So how do you get weirder? You add Sharknadoes to it.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Forza Horizon 4 will introduce a new weather system without fire tornadoes in its upcoming Fortune Island expansion.
Unsubscribe now without fire tornadoes.
Yeah.
Not even in it. Take back my season pass.
What is this? 2012?
What is this, 2018?
Devil May Cry 5 has some new weapons.
Sweet.
Jump Force is getting more anime characters.
Sweet.
Some cool ones.
Kingdom Hearts will have Winnie the Pooh in it? Question mark.
No, it will.
Of course,
There's-
always.
Yeah, we were saying this before the podcast. Winnie Pooh.
Winnie
Pooh.
Pooh. That's what I said earlier.
Winnie the Pooh has been in every Kingdom Hearts game to date, so he will be in it. And you do the same thing. It's the
Find
same-
pages.
Find pages.
Complete the book.
Yeah, and
Go
every
to-
page frees a new character from the darkness. So by the time you're done filling in the book, all Winnie the Pooh and his friends are there, and then you have a really nice campfire story on Winnie the Pooh's log outside. Pooh's log outside of his house.
And then the
it's
book
all-
closes,
the
100
book
acre,
closes,
100
and it's
acre
a
woods.
Wait, hold on.
da-
Pooh's
da-
log.
da- 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 da-
Pooh's log.
Yeah, Pooh's log.
Yeah, you know, Pooh
He's
log.
got the log outside of his house. Damn it!
The big brown Pooh
Yeah,
log.
it's a big round Pooh. It's brown. It's got some weird green specks on it. It's kind of porous.
All right, bringing back an old
bother.
segment.
That was pretty good.
Thanks.
Do it again.
There's pressure now. Oh, bother.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's like
Want some honey?
it's borderline the rabbit character you played.
Yeah, yeah. a
But
little
yeah.
bit.
It's pretty good, dude. I'm impressed.
Thanks.
Bringing back an old segment. Quick save. This is where we go really fast and try not to let these things slow us down. PUBG is coming to PS4 on December 7th, 2018. The game will include all major features and will launch with 3 maps. Those who pre-order the game will receive a Nathan Drake desert outfit from Uncharted and Ellie's backpack from The Last of Us, along with an avatar for your PS4.
What does that mean? What avatar for
Just
your
like
PS4?
a picture.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's an avatar?
Yep.
Is that what they
Yeah.
call that?
Yep.
Oh, I just called it a fucking profile picture.
The second DLC for Marvel Spider-Man, Turf Wars, now has a release date, November 20th, 2018. Included with the DLC are 3 more suits. The classic Iron Spider suit, the Spider Armor Mark 1, and a new animated suit, the Spider Clan suit, which is from Marvel Mangaverse comic books.
The Spider-Man Mark 1, is it that black one that looks
Yeah.
like he's all like...
The super armored one.
Yeah, that's an ugly-ass armor, man.
Yeah,
Why would they choose that?
I like that they have the original Iron Spider suit from Civil War,
Oh, is it the red and yellow one?
Yeah.
Oh, that one's badass.
but the other 2 suits they don't do anything.
Yeah, that Mark 1 suit was like 1990s Spider-Man, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's fucking terrible looking. If I'm thinking of the right one, I think we are.
Yeah.
I think you are.
It's black, but it almost looks like
It almost looks
diamond
like
plated
the-
armor on him.
Yeah, it almost looks like the suit, like an armored version of the black suit from Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, kind of,
Yeah.
but it's more like bulky
Like
and
padded.
padded looking. Yeah. Okay, so we are thinking the same one.
Overwatch's next hero, Ash, is now fully available in game. And last up on here, and this is tons of fun. Players of From Software's new game,
Darren Scene.
Darren Scene,
Yep.
have found clues that lead them to the far-reaching conclusion that the beloved company is definitely working on Bloodborne 2. Fans have found a doll that makes a gesture from Bloodborne, specifically made by the doll character in the popular PS4 game. The description reads, quote, "A doll of the stone girl Fiona who appears in the Unfinished Tale," end quote.
I get it.
According to fans, the phrase Unfinished Tale indicates that the story of Bloodborne isn't complete, so From is making a sequel for sure, definitely.
100%.
1000% true, confirmed. You heard it first on Twin Stick Radio.
No.
Mission accomplished.
Now, realistically, should From make a sequel to Bloodborne?
Yes, 100%.
Could they be? Yeah, sure. Definitely. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But this
Definitely,
is
maybe.
this is not proof that is happening. I
yeah,
don't
sure.
think.
The problem is, right? Well, From said they're done with. From has said they're done with
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls. So, I was going to say something, but I'm going to not say it after all.
Say it.
Well, I was going to say I
If
thought
only
they
we
were-
had a
I thought-
platform to say weird things.
I was going to say I thought they were done with all Souls-esque games because what is the new one called?
Sekiro?
It's not a Souls game. It's just not.
but it is though.
I mean, is it?
It's not. It's a weird kind of like offshoot, but it's still a Souls game. Like
I mean, is
most people
it?
that play it say that it plays like a Souls game. It's just kind of weird and different.
I mean, I guess.
I don't know. It'd be. I also think it'd be silly for Bloodborne to completely give up on a genre they created.
Do you mean FromSoft?
What did I say?
You said Bloodborne.
Bloodborne.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
Yeah, that's what I mean. God,
sure, I
suck it now.
No, I 100% agree with you. I don't know if they're going to. Sure, the smart thing would say make Bloodborne 2, and I think From Software is smart, so I think Bloodborne 2 is coming. I just don't think.
Does this doll character in this game
I don't know,
indicate
dude.
that?
I don't fucking know, dude. See,
But now whenever they do make a sequel, people are going to be like, "See, told you."
From Software Souls or From Software fans are fucking crazy. They'll find the utmost, like, most ridiculous conspiracy theory and the smallest thing in these games, and they're normally right. So,
Also, this
know,
is a
whatever.
VR game. Who the fuck knew From was making a VR game?
I did. They announced it at E3.
I guess.
Yeah, they announced it. They announced it alongside the Sekiro or whatever the hell that thing's called.
Was it alongside it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was
don't
alongside of it.
remember
Whatever. I remember it.
It's
hey, Chris,
high noon.
you have a topic of the week for us this week. You wanna introduce us?
No.
Okay, cool. Show's over.
Okay, bye everybody.
See you later.
So I thought now that we had I very much want to talk about Red Dead Redemption, but I cannot because none of you have finished this game. So I have nobody to talk about this game with. However, I do like speculation. So I think it would be fun to talk about what we think Red Dead Online is going to look like after 3 weeks of playing this game. What do you think is going to move over to online? from single player, and what may the actual like activities in online look like? Okay, 1, 2, 3, go.
Before we get into speculation, there is some stuff that people were able to data mine from the game. Do you guys want to talk about
How
that
do
a
you
little
data mine a game that's not on PC?
bit? Beats the fuck out of me. I mean, it's not a Blu-ray, so you just put it in your Blu-ray player, hook up your PC to it.
Yep, that's how it works.
Hashtag convert to PC, and then you
.exe, enter.
You open up code blocks.
Yeah,
and
push up your glasses.
convert it to
and
C++.
Jesus.
Pour your Diet Coke and just wait for the data mining to work.
I was trying to think. I was trying to think of the Jurassic Park quote when she's like, "Oh, this is a what system or what program is it?" She's like, "Oh, I know this. This is this," and then it's just like walking through like corridors and like, you know,
Oh, I know this. This is a pre-rendered 3D graphic model that I'm just acting in front of.
pretty much.
Okay, so according to Rockstar Intel, which has done a decent job throughout GTA 5's
Sure.
lifespan of digging up shit, they say that we know that properties, adversary modes, a seamless PvE mode, and vehicles will be coming, and by vehicles it's mostly
Wagons,
carriages,
sure.
will be coming to Red Dead Online, but we also discovered reference to races, death matches, dueling, and much more. And basically, the way that they're able to kind of figure this out is they can pull up parameters from stuff from the code. So they credited this leak to Fireboyd78.
Fireboyd?
Basically, all these different things he dug up
Boyd Street
directly reference multiplayer, which is practically confirmed. They'll be making an appearance in Red Dead Online this November. The most interesting of these are Respawn, Informed Law, Duel, Parlay, Feud, and Leader Feud. Predator ability is also something to take note of. Seems we'll have the following options upon getting killed by another player, similar to Grand Theft Auto 5's one-on-one deathmatch and so on. This is where the Respawn, Informed Law, Duel, Parlay come from. Thankfully, here is confirmation that we'll be able to duel with other players, but we also have alternatives of dealing with players, apparently. The Predator ability is quite hard to guess what it entails, but we can assume it's regarding animals in the wild. We know that there are intro cutscenes to Red Dead Online, and they'll involve a prison breakout due to the similarities to GTA Online.
Ooh.
I'm going to assume character creation will be a feature in Red Dead Online.
I
as
swear to
opposed
God,
Red Dead Redemption
I
set
swear to
character
God,
list.
if it's not, I'd be so pissed if you don't get to make your own character. If I can't look like a rugged outlaw that's going to shoot your dick off, I'm going to be pissed.
The rest of these leaks are from Rockstar Intel, and they list the different mission types for Red Dead Online.
Ooh.
Missions, deathmatch, race, survival, capture, last team standing, and parachuting.
What? No, it's not.
Yep.
No, it's
However,
not.
we've discovered Red Dead Online's current list of mission types. The list is not final. Mission, death, race. So this appears that this is what it's going to launch with, but these are the different parameters that they've listed so far.
I think, but all those things they just mentioned are just like a bunch of like adversary type mission type stuff, right? PvP deathmatch, a race. It's just racing horses or wagons. Actually, racing wagons sounds awesome.
Presumably, it would be like chariot races.
Sure, yeah.
Presumably,
nice.
yes, but they don't know that for sure. These are just mission types they found.
Right. It's just if you're taking this as gospel, it's a little disappointing that they're not finding like not single player but like story based missions. Does that make sense?
Like
Yeah,
heists.
Yeah, like heists and stuff
Bank
like that.
robberies.
There's no way that they're going to launch Red Dead Online without the idea and or promise of like heists, right?
I think
is that dumb to think of?
I think they will.
I don't know. So from the stuff that they've dug up so far, I haven't seen them talk about anything about like heists yet.
Right.
GTA didn't have heists for
Well, that's because GTA
long
had
time.
a super rocky launch. Heist was supposed to be like in the first 3 weeks of GTA Online. It just didn't happen.
when GTA Online released. Was it a beta or was it just a straight launch?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
So if I were Rockstar, I would do the Destiny model, where I would have Red Dead Online launch, and then for like a month or so, there's no heist or anything. You give people time to level up and get some cool guns,
Sure.
get a cooler horse, like find people to play with, and then I would make a huge event like shortly after launch about heists.
Sure, but the question I'm asking is it dumb for me to assume that heists, train robberies, bank robberies, just robberies in general between PvE and a PvE environment is just a dumb thing to think of?
I don't think it's
Since it's not on that list?
I don't think it's dumb, but I think that's not gonna. You're not gonna be able to do that just in open world. It's all gonna be instance based.
I understand that. I get that. It's just
part of what those things are, though. To play devil's advocate, missions is a very broad term.
sure.
So I don't know how heists are kind of categorized in GTA 5.
Sure, it could
but
just
it
be
might
a
be
mission.
possible
Yeah,
that
yeah.
it's under the subcategory of missions.
Well, that's the thing is in GTA 5, it's you have a heist, but it's 5 or 6 missions that lead up to the final big mission.
Mm-hmm.
I just think, excuse me, I think personally, there's just no way Rockstar has Red Dead Online without some sort of like heist system. I just. It would be like, I don't know. I don't even know what it would be like. It'd just be the dumbest thing in the world if that wasn't a thing in Red Dead Online.
I would hope that you're right. The thing about Rockstar, though, is that because of who they are and what they've done, they have a little bit of leeway and freedom to where they might think they could get away with that, and they probably would.
Sure, but
Whether or not it's fair.
yeah, I don't know, man. I just, God, it's the successfulness of heists in GTA Online, because they're good. That's the best content in GTA Online is a heist, probably secondary to the fucking Hot Wheels races.
Yeah.
But like they're fucking amazing. It's so good getting 4 guys together and just going through those missions and deciding, okay, I'm gonna be the pilot and you be the gunner. I'll drive the car. You be the prison guard who escorts the prisoner in, and like that idea of heist was just genius from Rockstar, and they would be absolute morons to not put that exact thing in Red Dead Online, where there's 4 or 5 missions where you are literally planning a train heist, right? You need to steal the train schedule, and you need to make sure there's enough bandanas to go around, or whatever. Whatever the fuck the mission structure. Yeah,
Rob a bandana car.
whatever the fuck the mission structure is, you just
You have to sew your own bandanas.
right. You just make sure that those are a thing. Or there's another mission where you're working to maybe break a guy out of Blackwater prison. I'm sorry, not Blackwater, Saint Denis prison. That's a thing where you're trying to break out a well-known bounty out of Blackwater, Saint Denis prison, and there's a whole mission structure where you got to try to get out of Saint Denis, right? It would be so stupid for that not to be a thing.
I guess again, I agree with you, but playing devil's advocate for a second, if the open world in Red Dead Online features the same amount of content that's in Red Dead, like legendary fishing, legendary hunting,
Which I think it maybe not legendary, but I think. Well, I don't know. Go ahead. Keep going.
just hunting in general,
Sure.
Fishing in general, the gambling games and stranger missions, or not stranger missions, but like the random encounters that you have with NPCs. If it includes kind of just because the reality about Red Dead compared to GTA 5 is that there's so much more to do in the open world than there is in GTA 5. Do you think that maybe it would be a little bit less ridiculous when you compare the amount of content that's just in the open world?
No, because that doesn't give you a reason to play with your friends. Sure, going and hunting and maybe going fishing with your friends sounds fun for an hour.
I feel like we'll lose an entire night. Or
Yeah,
two to just play
you may be
poker.
right. Yeah, you may be right. And that's the
Dominoes.
thing. Also, like how
Dominoes,
does gambling work, right? Because if shark cards exist in Red Dead Online, I don't know what they'll be called, horse cards, whatever. If those exist, then you're essentially kind of gambling away real money. You know what I mean? Because if you buy those shark cards, that's $5,000 in Red Dead Online, and then you go and you gamble that. That's almost that's like borderline gambling away.
I wonder if they
That's already a thing in GTA, kind of, though.
No, it's not.
You can buy shark cards, get money.
Sure,
you can
but-
bet on races and stuff and gain more money that way.
I wonder
That's
if
true. That's actually you're
Which
really
is
right. That's
which
true.
is straight just betting.
Yeah, that's true.
I wonder if they could get away with it because there's no way to withdraw that balance from
Sure.
the game.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's probably how. Yeah. So here's my thought. The reason I thought about this is I finished the game, and story beats aside, I think the camp system from the single player is going to move into Red
talk
Dead
about
Online.
that theory. You told me that the other day, and it was really cool.
So I think the idea of the camp is so integral to the story of Red Dead Redemption 2.
Real fast, and by camp you mean the gang camp,
The gang
not
camp,
the one
yes.
that you build for yourself.
Yeah, no, the gang camp. Dutch's gang, right? The whole point is
You're holdout. Basically.
Your holdout. Yeah, this is the place where the family gathers and plans and talks and interacts and does this thing. So I have an idea. I have a feeling, or I have a theory, or a hope that system is going to move into Red Dead Online. And so you have everybody can have their own camp, and maybe that camp is your apartment, right? Apartments and thing. So you're basically the leader of this upcoming heist, and everybody gathers in your camp. And so you have these ideas where it's like, I have this idea where it's like, okay, we need to raise this much money to actually start the heist, just like you do in Grand Theft Auto. But instead of player one fronting that cash, you have this lockbox, or you have the what do they call it, the contribution box, or whatever it's called.
Camp fund.
The camp fund. You have this camp fund. So it's like, you know what? Justin and I can log in on Tuesday night, and we need an X amount of perfect pelts to sell. To get this money, Justin and I will log in on Tuesday night. We'll take care of the hunting. Trey, you log on Wednesday when you're off, so you can go get the bandanas. And everybody has this thing that they go do during the week. That way, when everybody's together on Friday, we have the means, the funds, the things that we need to actually do the heist. And then you go off and you do those missions where it's back-to-back missions, 4, 5, 6 missions where you actually do the heist. I think I just...
It sounds really cool.
Well, then my reasoning for this is because when I bought the Ultimate Edition, I have a free as a Ultimate Edition perk, whatever it's called. I have a skin for a camp, which you can't use in single player. It's all online. So I already know camps are fully customizable. So that just makes me think that camps are basically going to be your apartment.
Well, I have a feeling that camps will be not necessarily like social spaces, but how you go into an apartment in GTA and you can't really like run or punch or do anything.
Sure, yeah.
There's very like limited things you can do.
Yeah.
I think that's how camps are going to be.
Sure, and that's exactly what I'm talking about.
I hope it works the way that you're talking about, though, because I think one of the things that GTA Online is severely lacking is a real social space for your gang to hang out at. Like, we are all part of the Los Santos...
whatever that thing is
whatever
I made.
it is.
Yeah.
We're all part of that, but, I can join your MC, but if you're not online, it's probably better for me to leave the MC so that I don't get like bounties and stuff on me. Yeah. But we don't have a space that we cooperatively like maintain and come back to as a group, even though we all like have the same emblem on our fucking motorcycles.
Yeah. I just think the idea, the idea of camaraderie and brotherhood, I guess you want to call it anything, plays so heavily in Red Dead, the story, that it would be really hard for me to think, because you can't do as much shit in Grand Theft Auto Online. There's so much to do, and all of it's so crazy and off the wall that it can't exist in Red Dead Online. So what do you substitute that with? You substitute that with a realism, and you substitute that with something to give players, and their friends multiple reasons to log in, multiple reasons to just get together and play this game. Grand Theft Auto doesn't need those reasons because it's just stupid and crazy, right? We can just log in and play stupid fucking Hot Wheel races and change from boat to car to plane and be cool, bro, be cool, right? For hours on end. And we don't need rhyme or reason about it. But in Red Dead Online, in Red Dead Redemption, that world is so based in a reality that you need to give players a reason to actually log in and play it, because that ridiculousness isn't going to be there. And I think Rockstar has already gone on record saying that even Red Dead Redemption Online for the first year is still going to be very based in a, grounded atmosphere, not flying horses, right? Not crazy ass motorboats that didn't exist in 1911, whatever it is.
If it is going to stay as grounded as the single player is, I really hope it is as meaty or because I'll be honest, if it's just like the adversary modes or just kind of like racing, I'm going to get really tired of just racing horses. If it's just
Red Dead 1 Online, it's not going to be fun.
Yeah, I think all that's right, but I also think again, I'm going to just change this to my assumption that the amount of stuff that I can do in the open world and single player is going to be is going to be in multiplayer. I do think heists need to hit fairly early on, but there's also a certain level of compare. If you walk in with just the amount of open world stuff, it's already a significantly better game than GTA 5 online was at launch.
Especially if you take into account not just like the adversary missions, but like bounties, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a group of 4 guys that get together and we go hunt down a bounty.
Yeah.
And it's
you got to bust down an O'Driscoll camp. And
yeah,
capture
exactly.
the leader.
And we're talking like 50 or 60 dudes in an O'Driscoll camp, and we got to try to find the leader, but don't fucking kill him, right?
Yeah.
So the guy who kills him gets kicked out of the fucking gang, whatever it is.
Or hogtied.
Right.
That's going to be my form of corporal punishment.
And that sounds like instead, in Red Dead, the story, it's easy just to go get a bounty.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put bounties behind this like group activity, holy shit, man. And then you split the reward at the end of it. We'll do bounties all fucking day, man. It's like a mini dungeon. You know what I mean?
I was thinking too, it'd be kind of cool if, because you know how we have the whole honor system in single player. It'd be really cool if that kind of got transferred into almost like a faction, to where it's like you have kind of like the outlaws like online, and then you have people who are like more so on like the good side.
Well, see, so that kind of, if you want to, that kind of leads into the next thing is what little mechanics from Red Dead story makes it into online, because I don't think the honor system's going to do it.
Oh, I think so.
Do you really?
I really do.
How does that going to work?
Well, I want to get to honor system in a second.
Okay.
Beard growing has to be in there. Hair growing has to be in there.
I'll tell you what, beard growing and hair growing, please don't make me take 19,000 hair tonics. Just let me have a beard. I honestly don't want to take the time.
I hope we all come in bald and beardless.
I really
We're just
don't.
babies.
Yeah,
We're
I really
just-
don't. I really don't. I really hope we don't have to grow the beard. I just hope I can go to a hairstylist and have the beard.
I would imagine on character
hope-
creation.
I hope not. I hope it's growing, because imagine if it took you like 2 months to grow a level 10 beard, Chris.
Sure, maybe.
By the time that you hit that level 10 beard,
you're gonna be
you'd
real
be
proud
so
of it.
proud of
Sure,
yourself.
Yeah, possibly.
And then I just want to go and just cut it off.
Can you imagine? It's like
Justin,
scalping,
yeah,
but
Justin
you
like
shave.
scalps me, scalps my character. Like, holy shit,
You
dude.
respawn and you just look like a fucking businessman. Oh, that's so good.
That is pretty fucked up. But if you're gonna do that, you have to play like a Native American race.
Jeez.
Well, I really hope that's in there too. I really hope you get to pick races. Like, I really hope I can just play my quintessential white-looking guy, and you can play the Native American who scalps people.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
But on the honor system, for me as a person,
Sure.
I tend to games with morality systems. I always tend to be a good guy, because that's the way that I like
Except
to play
for
games.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Well,
Red Dead Redemption
Rockstar
2.
games in general are fun for me, because I can be a horrible person and there are no consequences. I can be Michael and I can commit mass genocide. I can go around the town and exclusively kill white dudes and pile up their bodies in the middle of the street, and there are no consequences.
You are a terrible person in these games. His favorite thing to do is hogtie somebody and drag them behind a horse.
Yeah.
Then he goes and punches said horse.
Well, I actually have a new favorite.
no.
I have a new favorite hobby of hog tying people and then taking them to Lemoyne and throwing them in the swamp and watching them get eaten by gator.
I was walking through town in roads, and I stepped. I was on my horse, and I stepped on a cat, and it meowed, and I was like, I felt so bad. Like
I would never hurt I would only hurt the white Arabian, but I would never like hurt a dog. Like I accidentally like
the white Arabian
accidentally,
horse.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not a white Arabian person.
Yeah.
But yeah, I accidentally like bumped I didn't hurt it, but I bumped a dog with my horse and I freaked out. I was like, no. But anyway.
I do think it's bullshit that you can't pet cats. You can
I
only,
agree.
You can only pat
agree.
dogs.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Cats are not meant to be petted. They're meant to be made into food.
Good God. Maybe in China.
Jeez. But the honor system is really cool because we were talking about this the other day, but like there is a point system to it. Like it's basically
I didn't know
positive
this.
320.
I didn't know this till you told me that.
Or negative 320. And every time you do something, you basically get 5 or 10 points. So if you are the most outlawish of outlaws and you have the worst honor system, you can recover that. And it's possible.
You know what? Now that you're saying that, now that the point system exists, I went and looked it up after you told me about it, and there's like the highest honor you get like a 50% discount at stores. The high honor and low honor unlock outfits.
Yeah.
Like I think that sounds great. Like if you want to look like the all black assassin with the eye patch on, you better have the lowest honor, because that's the only way to unlock those clothes.
And one of the things
that's great.
One of the things that you figure out by that unlock system is that a dishonorable Arthur has more short-term benefits. Like you get to loot more people and you get more money because you're robbing people. But the long-term benefits for building up good armor help you out so much more in the long run. And so it's sort of a way for people to police themselves.
Okay.
You have people that are going to act less. You're going to have a lot of people that act less ridiculously
Sure.
because they know that there are benefits tied to being one way or the other.
Sure, but if you're a good online developer, which I feel like Rockstar kind of is because they've learned from GTA, you have benefits weighing on both sides that make people choose high or low honor.
Because that's how it is now. Is like, the benefits of being an outlaw is you can rob and kill people and take their shit.
Sure,
and you're going to have
but
more money
than that. Oh, you'll have more money.
You'll have more money, but as someone who likes to get as many outfits and buy horses and buy saddles and shit, like getting top honor and having that 50% discount will save me a lot of money in the long run.
Well, that's the thing
also
is
keep bounty hunters off you too.
Well, I think the saddles and the outfits and that should at least online that should also come with low honor. Yeah, you get more money, but there's also things that unlock at low honor.
No, I'm talking about the discount. The 50% discount.
Okay, because that would almost.
But there should be gear.
Yeah, that would almost
honor.
even itself out, right? Low honor, you definitely have more money because of who you are, but high honor, you don't have as much money. However, you do have the discount.
Yeah.
So it almost like weighs each other out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a good developer, like I said, I think Rockstar is. I think they'll find that balance in that honor system. I really like that.
And realistically, like I think there's just as equal of a chance for it not to be in there as there is a chance for it to be in there.
Sure.
But for me as a player and someone who just has no respect for Rockstar open worlds in a regular like given game, the way that it's forced me to police myself and the way that I have to think about when I'm doing bad things. Like, I'm still going to hog tie this guy and feed him to alligators, but I'm not going to do it to 100 people.
Sure.
I'm going to do it to one and then walk around the street and say hi to everybody.
Also, I'm going to make sure that nobody sees me because if they do, fuck that guy.
Well,
bang, bang.
That's how I figured it out was that
Fucking witnesses, man.
I bumped into a guy. He pulled a gun on me. I had to kill him because he was shooting at me. A witness saw. So that's when I figured out that you can feed them to alligators.
Well, I had to kill a witness the other day because I did a good thing by somebody was getting somebody's stagecoach was getting robbed. So I killed the robber, and the guy was like, "Oh, thank you. Like I'm going to report this as a robbery anyways. So just go ahead and take whatever's in the lockbox." I was like, "Okay, cool." Didn't have anything to open the lockbox, so I shot it open. And then I'm going and like digging through it, and then people stumble upon me digging through this thing, and they're like, "He's looting that carriage.
He shouldn't be doing that." Yeah.
And I was like, now I have to kill you.
Yep.
But it's such an integral part of the game to me that it would be a little bit sad if it's not there. I'd get over it. But,
Sure.
Do you want to talk about time period a little bit?
Yeah, I do. Before we go there, shit that I don't think should be in Red Dead Online, please let me wear whatever the hell I want. If I'm in cold weather and I want to wear shorts and a short sleeve shirt, just let me do it. I like it in single player that you have to wear cold. You have to wear like heavy coats in cold weather. I think it's great in a single player experience. Don't make me do it on Red Dead Online. I think it's more cumbersome.
Would you feel that
I think the same thing will go for the weight thing too.
the weight and eating food? Don't make me do any of that shit online.
Would you feel that way if there was a lot more options? Because I think one of the problems now is that I feel like especially for cold weather, there's not a lot of options. So
Yeah,
I
think I would feel like that because like I said, in single player, it's fine. But the last thing I want to have to think about is what the temperature is when we're on a ride to a train. Does that make sense? Especially when we're all playing together. Because if we're all playing together, we're all going to be shooting the shit, right? We're not going to be worried about what the temperature is.
But it adds to the planning. I mean, if we're planning a heist that's going to take us maybe possibly up into the mountains, that's something you have to prepare for.
Yeah, I guess when you put it like that, that sounds kind of cool.
And in the opposite way, I think you might feel a little silly, like there's no shorts in the game. But if you were walking around in shorts in the mountains, like it would look kind of weird.
Sure.
And if they have more outfit slots on the horse,
yeah, possibly.
I think that's one of the problems in the base game is that there's only 3. And
yeah,
it's not really a lot.
You have 4 outfits on your horse.
Oh, I can only have 3 right now.
Interesting.
I wonder if it's just a saddle.
Maybe. When you put it like that, Justin, where it's like, well, hey, we're going to be robbing this train in the mountains. We need, you need to be wearing warm clothes. I think that's better. I think I can get behind it then, but it's just annoying. Eating food in this game is super annoying. I'm always underweight.
They don't do that.
Just get rid of that. Just if I want to be underweight, just let me make my character underweight in the first place, and just let him be a skinny little bitch.
I really like the survival stuff in this game.
But does it need to be online?
Does it need to be? No, but okay. Part of the thing that like makes it not fun with Arthur is there's basically like, as far as I can tell, there's like 4 options. Emaciated, like just got off a boat from Africa. There's underweight, there's average weight, and there's overweight. But there's
a perfect in there somewhere.
Well,
Yeah, beginning
is
of the
average
game.
perfect?
Yeah, the beginning of the game. No, there's a perfect weight.
Oh, there is.
Yeah, it says
okay,
perfect.
So 5.
Yeah.
But I would like it if they like made it a little bit easier. Like you only have to eat like once a day. And you can
Underweight,
maintain your
perfect,
weight.
overweight.
But I would also like it if there was like 10 options, and you can be like a really fat cowboy if you're just eating too much.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, sure. Yes,
Because-
that'll. It's just man the then.
You
Then,
just see like a
then
really fat
get-
guy riding by on a mule.
yeah, so that sounds
on
good.
on a tiny Arabian. Just
Okay, so yes, but then get rid of the negative effects that come with the underweight and overweight stuff.
I feel like the
I
negative-
think that's the biggest thing because I love the crafting system in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how long I've spent in the crafting system just making meat.
Yeah.
Grilling meat and doing all these things because of how much it replenishes cores.
Mm-hmm.
I've spent so much time crafting, and I hope that still stays in Red Dead Online.
Mm-hmm.
I just hate the fact that I can't ever stay at the perfect weight because it seems like you have to eat like 9 times a day to stay at that perfect weight.
I think the problem is just how hard it is to maintain. Not that there's negative or positive side effects,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Like if you could say, because you like being underweight.
I do like being underweight. I like the stamina increase more than I like the health increase. Increase.
But like if you could easily maintain that, you wouldn't even think about it.
No,
It was
you're
just
right.
like, oh, I
You're
wake up
100%
in the
right.
morning and fucking eat a pork chop.
Yeah,
there
you're
you
right.
go.
You're 100% right.
Something that I do hope is not in the game.
It's Deadeye.
Now that you say it, yes, but also it'll be sad if it's
I'm
not
real
there.
good at Deadeye.
Yeah. But something that I hope is not in the game.
I would just to toot my own horn. I was playing and Trey was watching, and I got through a Deadeye like thing. He was like, "Wow, that was really badass." It's like, yeah, it was.
The fact that Arthur, every time he gets on his fucking horse, he takes all his guns off, puts them on his horse, and then you have to re-equip them. And I always forget to re-equip them. So I only ever have just pistols.
Pro tip number 2 from Chris to Trey: if you go to the gunsmith,
Okay.
and you actually go to the customize menu, you can assign guns to specific slots. So when you get off your horse, those guns
Yeah, I wish Rockstar would tell
automatically
you that.
those
What?
guns automatically come off with you.
Did not know that.
Yep.
No, every time I'm like, all right, shotgun. Here's my sniper. Got my cool pistols. Every time he's like, and I'm like,
Yep.
fuck you,
Yep.
dude, stop it.
Are you ever riding around? Does y'all's Arthur ever randomly just pull out a weapon every now and then, like just while you're riding, and then
If
just
you
put
hold-
it back?
If you press L1, he'll do it.
No, I'll just be riding, and then like
Pressing L1.
I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
I feel like you're accidentally pressing L1 because I'm not trying to like add on to the shame, but that usually when Arthur pulls out a gun, it's because I've told him to.
Yeah.
Pull
But
it
there's
out.
not like a reticle or anything. It's not like he's aiming. It's just
Yeah,
I see it
because-
go into his hand.
Yeah, because some like you see this sometimes when you're walking around in the open world. Like if you pull out a shotgun, right? You have your shotgun up, and then you hit L1 to put it away. Sometimes he doesn't fully put it away, and he walks around town with a shotgun in his hand.
In his left hand, holding
Yeah,
it.
and so that's the same sort of thing. Is he's like resting it on his thigh as he's riding, but that's considered being put away. It's just not in a holster or on the side of the horse.
Maybe that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Where were you going earlier before I...
Oh yeah. Do you want to talk about?
The time period.
Yeah. Before we get into this real fast, if you want to be, we're not going to spoil anything.
No.
But if you want to be completely blind to the possibility of the end of the story,
Yeah.
you might want to just end the podcast here and go enjoy your night.
Sure.
But we are
Or
going to
morning.
discuss this a little bit.
Huh?
He said enjoy your night, and I was just saying or morning.
Yeah, or
whenever you're
morning or
listening to
whenever
this.
you're listening to this.
Night somewhere.
Yeah, or just skip ahead maybe 10 more minutes or until the ending. Whatever.
But yeah, so we're not going to spoil anything directly, but
Nope.
it does talk about something that you
Yeah,
might not
I
know.
think it just takes the time period of the end of the game. I think is the biggest thing that we'd be talking about here. So like, I like both sides of the story. I think Trey's on the side of it taking place possibly before the game starts, in maybe 1880
Or at least
89 or
around the time.
1898 or 1899, around before I would don't put words in my mouth. I would say before the Blackwater heist.
I would say either before the Blackwater heist or around the time that chapter 2 starts. Like those were kind of like
man,
my
I don't
thoughts.
know. I don't know about that one. I agree with the Blackwater heist. I just don't know if the in the middle of the story would make sense because then I just don't know.
Well, part of the thing
I
they
don't
get
know if
away
I'd
with-
want to run into all these characters.
Part of the thing with this game though is first the world is big,
Sure.
but also that they never handle time in any direct way. as far as I can tell. Like occasionally they're like, hey, a couple weeks later, this thing happens.
Oh, sure. But
you don't start the game like this is January 1st and end the game.
Sure.
And this is,
you don't know exactly what date it is, but you do know the year.
So
I definitely know the year.
I feel, yeah, exactly. I feel like they can drop you in there, and because there's not a real calendar in the game, it doesn't necessarily matter what Dutch's gang is up to.
Yeah, but like if you did, I mean, so if it takes place in the middle of the actual campaign, then you should be able to go to one of 5 or 6 places and find that gang camp there. And I don't think you'd be able to do that. Mm-hmm. I don't see that as a feasible thing. Does that make sense? Or you
get close to the camp and just like all the people that are standing there and never do anything, just start shooting at you.
Yeah, maybe. I
don't know. No, that was just me pulling something out of my
ass. I really like the idea of it taking place before the Blackwater heist, before all the shit hits the fan at the beginning of the game. Before the beginning of the game, really. I really like it, the idea of it taking place before then, because then there definitely is the idea that you're going around this world doing bounties, creating your own gang, setting up your own camp, and the legend of Dutch Vanderland's gang exists. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and it would make sense to have, I mean, in an online game where it's populated full of outlaws, it would make sense for it to be before, you know, the death of the Wild West.
Sure.
That's also that's a really good point.
It's a very good point.
Is that like if you start getting any later than 1899, the amount of outlaws that exist in the world
is a very good point.
Significantly less.
However, they've already stated that Red Dead Online is going to have a fairly heavy story. Not heavy, I'm sorry. It's probably a bad word.
Probably about as much as GTA 5 Online, which is significant.
They've said more. They've
Really?
said it's going to the story aspect is going to be a little bit more than GTA Online was.
Quick sidebar. I know that your protagonist is probably not going to be voiced in any way.
Yes, I hope not.
I hope that I hope it's not as awkward as it is in GTA 5.
No way, dude. Those are some of the best. Oh, sure.
I don't need,
more realistic world. I agree.
I don't need my guy to like going on with a monologue about how great the outlaw life is. But it would be nice if he was like, "Yep, okay, sure."
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah. Not like a full sentence. Like, yeah, I get it.
You know, like
he doesn't even do that. Yeah, it's like
just a gang of mimes.
But I like the idea that it could take place after the completion of the end of the epilogue of the game, after everything's over with. It's 1907. That's the spoiler, right? It takes place in the end of the game. Takes place in 1907, and I think that the way the game ends, it really sets up story-wise who can show back up in Red Dead Online. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. It doesn't make sense because you guys haven't finished the game. Who can be quest givers? Who can be somebody that you can actually run into in Red Dead Online that's part of the main story? Because if it takes place before then, right, if it takes place before the Blackwater incident, then you're not going to see people like Sadie, because Sadie shows up at the first mission of the game. You'll never see Sadie Adler, which is a little disappointing because of who she... It's a little disappointing if you don't ever get to see Sadie.
Yeah.
So that's why I like the idea of it possibly taking place after everything is done with, because there's a chance that those type of characters, not saying Sadie's a part of it, just saying those types of characters can show back up. Because I think it'd be really, really cool to maybe work with, Sean, or work with, maybe Kieran, you know what I mean? They show up after everything's over with because they maybe... whatever, they left for whatever reason. I just think it'd be really cool to have those people that played such a minor character role in the story be a somewhat major character in the online universe.
That's kind of how GTA 5 got
right.
Is that you later on Trevor does make an appearance, but you never really interact. As far as I know, you never interact with Michael or Franklin.
No, you interact with like Lamar and
Gerald. Which one's Gerald?
Gerald's the cocaine dealer guy.
Gerald, and then the nerdy dude that uses the cane.
Yeah.
Like, but those cast members were all really strong, and that works. And I think
true.
The later, there's just a possibility that maybe some characters that would fit in really well with the weird off the wallness that is going to exist, regardless of how serious it actually is.
Sure.
Red Dead Online, like some of those people aren't going to be there, and that's interesting. A weird idea.
Because my personal opinion, I would not ever want to lay eyes on Dutch, Arthur, John, Javier, I just would never want to lay eyes on these guys. Bill Williamson, I just don't want to see him. I do not want to see those men in Grand Theft Auto Online, just because I just don't. I don't want to see him. I want to see my guy take front and center, right? I want to see my gang or our gang or the Twin Stickers or whatever we fucking call our gang. I want to see
Twin
us,
Stickies?
yeah, the Twin Stickies. I want to see us take front and center as the outlaws of this section of the world that we're in, and the Dutch Vanderlyn gang be a legend, right? Something that maybe we aspire to. But I say that, and at the same time, there's still minor characters that are part of that gang that I would love to see as quest givers. So it's I'm fucking I'm being a hypocrite. Two-way.
You're of two minds. I mean,
I have two minds, but it's just
like from the stranger missions and just kind of people you interact with in town. Do you have are there any thoughts of like any strong supporting characters from that you can see kind of taking up
stranger
those
missions?
Because that's kind of where a lot of the a lot of the NPCs in GTA 5 kind of came from those side missions. That
Sure.
were characters.
Yeah, I mean, yes, absolutely. I think there is let's see, you're at chapter 3, chapter 4.
I feel like with strangers, you can't really spoil anything.
So you know what?
They're not significant.
You know what? I kind of take that back because I think the stranger missions aren't as they're not as impactful as they were in GTA 5.
They're not as they're not as like other characters.
Yeah, other character driven. Because Gerald was a stranger mission in GTA 5 that ended up turning into like a cocaine ring. Lamar wasn't a stranger; he's an actual quest. But like some of the quest givers in GTA 5 started as strangers, but they had a bigger story to play in the pantheon of Grand Theft Auto 5,
like
toward the end. But like none of the strangers that I can think of in Red Dead 2 really like. I can think of maybe a couple. Like maybe there's a writer that you meet in Saint Denis at one point in time that I think he could. I think
the painter.
Yeah, the painter in Saint Denis could. I'm trying to think. Maybe the photographer could.
The boat guy.
The boat guy.
The radio waves guy.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, he might. Yes. Yes, he totally could.
Yeah.
But like all that sounds really cool. But again, like I said, if it takes place after the events of the game, I can think of so many better characters that can be quest givers in this game. If it takes place after the events of Red Dead 2, there's just room for such great character cameos in Red Dead Online. If it takes place after the events of Red Dead 2.
Well, however, the more this conversation goes on, though, the more that I realize that I guess ultimately it doesn't matter because not in a way where like, hey, let's delete the last 20 minutes of this conversation, but more in a way that like I think when you said when I'm playing online, I want my character and your characters to be front and center. I guess when I think about GTA 5, like occasionally you have that really good cameo online from someone, but for the most part, like those characters are kind of nuisances.
Sure.
It's very, outside of like the occasional story mission where something funny happens, like most of the time when one of those characters is trying to talk to me or they're calling me or texting me, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I'm playing with my friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
So maybe the time period doesn't matter all that much as long as they at least have room to work with a few compelling characters.
We're not going to have to deal with a cell phone and people constantly texting and calling us in Red Dead Online.
It's just carrier pigeons.
What's the alternative?
It's just carrier pigeons.
You're just
pigeons
being like bombarded with carrying pigeons.
Or just anytime you ride by a train, it's just a conductor or like a postman's like leaning out the window like, sir, sir, this is for you.
Telegram for you, sir. Yeah. But yeah, I think you're right. I don't think it really matters too much as long as we're front and center. It's just, it would be after finishing the game, my Red Dead soul would be complete if some of the characters made some cameo appearances.
I kind of, though, like to a certain degree, though, and I don't know how this would work, and it probably wouldn't work, and there's a lot of reasons why it wouldn't work, but part of me kind of feels like I would love for them to, because regardless of the fact that like you don't know exactly how many months or weeks or days have passed since the start of the game to the end of the game, there is an obvious progression of time. Like, at the start of the game, there is a house being built outside and inside of Valentine. And as the game progresses, they get finished. And part of me kind of feels like I would enjoy over time for maybe them to start out like before the Blackwater incident and then progress it to, 1911.
Sure.
Or 1917, I think is when no, it's 1921, isn't it? When Red Dead 1 ends?
It's 10 years. No.
Because Jack grows up.
Well,
He's like 10.
the
and he's
ending
like,
of Red Dead 1, when John dies, is maybe a year or two after the start of the game.
when
But
you actually complete
after
the
the
epilogue.
yes, Jack's 19, so it probably would have been about 10 years.
Yeah, something like that.
I see what you're saying, yes.
But like, I would love to see like over time, like them play with time a little bit and online.
Sure, I think that'd
where
be kinda
like
neat.
maybe at the start of the start of GTA Online, like
It's a persistent world.
Sadie isn't who she is at the end, and people come and go.
Sure.
And the certain NPCs change and certain NPCs
Sure.
get added. And I think that works with GTA 5 Online, like with the story missions. It's not direct, but there is sort of a certain progression of time. Like by the time that you're playing
Kind
the
of.
new in-game missions, there's a certain assumption of things that you've been doing for a really long time.
Sure.
And they acknowledge that you haven't just
Sure,
been in the world
sure.
for a week,
Yeah, I think so.
That probably won't happen, but it would be cool.
I think a persistent world would be awesome. I just don't know if because they've never really done it, so I don't even know if I'm sure they have the capability of. I just don't know if they would do it, like you said.
Yeah.
One last thing though, I just thought about would be super cool. Going off of Justin's like high honor, like if you could be like a lawman in this game and Red Dead Online, like if you have high enough honor, you can maybe get deputized, and then you are basically. That's like a PvP mode in the open world, right? Where you're a lawman and you hunt down other players, kind of like a bounty system.
I was thinking about this earlier.
Kind of neat.
I was thinking about this earlier when I was herding cattle.
Wait,
There-
when did you have to herd cattle?
It's an optional companion quest that you can do in a camp.
Shit. I missed that.
Damn it.
Son of a bitch.
It's with Uncle. You didn't miss anything.
Okay, good.
But you herd sheep at one point in the story.
I do remember herding the sheep. That
but
was
you,
really easy.
You also can herd cattle, but like there is a profession system that could exist in this game. Like
Sure.
you could easily
Take it easy over there, Tiger. Jeez.
Like you could easily just be a hunter or a fisherman.
Yeah.
Or you could easily just collect bounties.
Yeah.
Or you could be a rancher. It would be cool if, because that exists in GTA 5, right? Like you can make coke as a fucking motorcycle guy. You can
Yeah.
steal and invest money as a businessman. What if they did like something similar where you can just have a profession where like there are certain perks for you being a hunter? Like that's what you do. Like that's your main source of income.
Maybe that's what that predator thing is.
Yeah, you can still go off and be an outlaw and do your thing, but like at the end of the day, like this is the main way that you're making money, and this is a certain skill that you're progressing, and maybe you can switch careers, and like suddenly I'm a rancher, and look at all my cows, and
that's how you contribute back to your homestead.
Sure,
back to,
yeah,
back to your
however it
gang.
works.
I'm raising cows, and I'm like, hey Justin, if you help me take my cows across the river to eat some grass, like I'll pay you $20, which is like $1,000 in Red Dead money.
I don't know if trading will be a thing. I like your idea, but I don't think we're going to be able to trade in any way,
I think
shape, or
you can
form.
give money in GTA 5 Online.
Can you?
You can.
You give somebody money? I don't
Yeah, you
remember
can.
ever
Because
doing
that's
You can
how
transfer the money.
back before there were like actual heists. Whenever you would just rob the little grocery stores,
Oh, yeah.
you would run away from the cops,
And
and
you
then
would
you'd be
divvy
like,
it up.
okay, I'll
Yeah,
here's transfer.
Back before we were on
$100
PC and
to-
people had guns that shot wads of cash at us.
Yeah.
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 But I don't know. But those systems are so deep that you
They
could do
could do, yes, they could do it. I would just hope I would hope they would concentrate more on the multiplayer PvE aspect of this thing before they started doing stuff like that.
Sure, but one of the reasons why I like GTA 5 online and I think it's great, but I don't go back to it because as a solo player, there's nothing really for me to do.
Oh, sure. Yeah. No, you're right.
Especially if I don't have a lot of money. But for me, like I'll play Red Dead with you guys as long as you're playing it. But if there's not a reason for me to like progress as a solo player,
Sure.
I'm never going to play it by myself.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
give me a profession. Let me be
It's not a bad idea.
let me be a leather worker.
It's not a bad idea at all.
Yeah.
Very, very much not. Titles would be great. I feel like.
Cowpoke tray.
Yeah, sure. But like no, like you get the title of like guns, like guns.
Fast, wasn't it?
That was pretty good.
You get the
Bandana Stealer Trey.
You get the title of like gunslinger if you win 25
Duels.
like the draw duel. Like that'd be, I think stuff like that's super cool.
Fisherman.
Sure, yeah, a fisherman or a predator, like or hunter of.
I wouldn't want to be
things.
called a predator.
Also, let me live out my Brokeback Mountain fantasy. I want to get a
I think
gay
you
cowboy
totally
boyfriend.
can.
Get a gay cowboy boyfriend, and he just hangs out at my camp and polishes my leather saddle.
What? Is that code for penis?
And that's
No,
why
no,
they
no.
call him
Your
leather worker.
your leather saddle where he sits.
No.
You sure?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like the ball at the end of the saddle.
Yeah.
Wait,
Exactly.
a ball at the end of
The
what are you
horn.
talking
It's
The
a horn.
The horn. Oh, excuse me. The knob.
The knob, the ball at the end of the saddle. That's
The
even. That's
knob on the
literally and
saddle.
like. That's even a thing in the game. You
Yeah, I
change the
know.
horn of the saddle, but you just call it
I'm
a ball.
not spending money on that.
Why not?
That's like $16.
Yeah, and it's
Oh, he's still poor. That's why.
No, I mean I
How much money you got?
Like I don't know, a lot.
He's self-conscious about his fake Red Dead Redemption money.
I have like 700, but I've
that's-
also
that's
but I've
a
also
pretty good-
upgraded
that's an okay
Dutch's
amount.
tent and Arthur's tent.
sure. That's a pretty good amount.
That costs like
that's,
500.
That's like upper lower class.
Yeah, that's a
I
pretty
feel
good
like
amount.
I'm at like 3,500 is like an average amount of money I usually have. I feel like that's middle class.
Did you say 3,500?
3,500.
Dude, I had
Oh my
31,000 by the end of the game.
31,000. Jesus.
Anyway,
3,500 is 3,500.
Sometimes
Also-
I like to loot bodies and I get 40 cents and I'm like, yes.
I can gamble later.
also, I would very much like every horse breed to be available in game, and they all feel somewhat unique, a little bit more unique than they do in the single player.
I would like it. I don't know how you do this, but I feel like if I really like a horse, there should be a way for me to continue to upgrade it so that I don't necessarily have to change it out.
Maybe the bonding thing takes longer
Yeah. Well,
than it does in the original,
Like,
in
'cause-
the single player.
like I really like the way my Nakota looks, right?
Sure.
I don't want to get, and as at level 4 bonding, and its stats aren't amazing. Like technically its stats aren't better than the White Arabian, but it would be cool if like I didn't feel like I had to buy the brand new horse that has double maxed out speed in order to keep up with you.
Sure.
Because I think that's one of the things that kind of ruins GTA 5 online a little bit is that I could really like a basic bitch car, but outside of just it has its top performance
Sure.
and there's nothing I can do to make
Sure,
it
but the
better.
fact that you don't have an armored car, there's no reason to get in your car whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I just I hope, like, I love the horse breeds, and I really hope they have. I just hope there's more nuances between the horses than there are in single, because it doesn't matter what horse you ride in single player. Best horse, worst horse, it's just you. It does not matter whatsoever. But in online, that health bar could possibly matter. That stamina bar probably is going to matter. The fact of how fast it is might matter. You know
What
what I
if
mean?
people can kill your horses?
Sure, that's what. Yeah, absolutely,
can.
100%.
That's horrifying.
100%.
I would be so upset if I had this horse that I'd been bonding with and some jackass just shot it with a shotgun.
I would
Shortchange
Like-
hero, horse murderer.
like occasionally I accidentally kill a guy who's chasing me, like his horse.
I would assume,
and then I kill him afterwards because I don't want him to live with the pain of knowing that I just killed his horse.
I would assume so. Like I think a lot of mechanics in Grand Theft Auto Online are going to move over to Red Dead
You're saying
Online.
there's going to be a mechanic. And
No, I think there's going to be a horse stable, and I
Like a
think
vet?
there's going to be like insurance or a vet on your horses. So when your horse
What is
is
insurance?
so when your horse dies, you just pay a certain amount, and you can get your horse back.
That's definitely a thing.
It
I'm
has
just
to be a
saying,
thing.
I'm just
right?
saying, if one of you guys kill my horse, we're gonna have some real problems.
I'm gonna take a
Even
shot.
if-
I'm
even
gonna
if
take a
the-
shotgun and not kill it all the way. I'm just gonna blow like one of its front legs off so it can't run, and you're
Can you
just
do
there.
that to horses?
Maybe
No, I don't know.
maybe whenever you
Dude, you got super dark. You're like, oh my god, can you actually
Well, because
do that?
my first thought was like, I need to go try to blow off a horse leg. when
Oh
I
my
get
god,
home.
Jesus.
my god.
Maybe when your horse dies and comes back, they just add like a Roman numeral, like right behind it, so it's like Wayward Son 2.
Murdoch the Fourth.
So like maybe there's a new online trophy, or there's like a title if you get all the way to like horse number 20.
Yes.
It's like horse murder or horse killer or horse resurrector or something.
Bad horse
Yeah,
parent.
bad horse parent.
Or there's like paganism or Satanism where you can bring your horse back from the dead through pagan rituals.
And that's how you get like
Actually,
a skeleton horse.
I think it would be. I was listening real quick before we end. I was listening to one of the podcasts, and one of the guys on this podcast from a Polygon podcast was talking about he feels like the KKK should have been represented like they were. It's like they actually were. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? You want the KKK to be burning black people in this game? Are you fucking kidding me?
Speaking of
this
me
is
trying to do something evil,
the way the KKK is portrayed in this game is exactly the way they should be portrayed in this game. 100%. And I also think in Red Dead Online you should have the option of wearing those clothes. That way.
Wait, hold on. Say that again.
And Red Dead Online. Hold on. Wait for it. I really hope you have the option of wearing those clothes. And when you do, there is money involved in the person killing you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was like, where is this going?
Like
Your game like automatically erases itself.
Well, no,
and
you put those
game
clothes
shuts
on
off.
and you're automatically like marked for death to everybody on the map. It's almost like a what's that adversary mode where you're like the monster and everybody's trying to kill the monster?
Like a werewolf?
But you're like super powered. You guys remember playing?
Yeah.
that?
Where, like, you have like a shotgun and everyone's trying to hide
and
from
you can jump.
Oh, like
super
slasher.
high.
Oh, the jumping
the
is
one
the
you
werewolf.
can like. No, Justin, let me finish what I'm saying. There's an adversary mode that we have played before, all four of us, where one person is like super powered, and even hitting them with a car doesn't kill them. It takes like a group effort to kill them. And so, putting on the KKK get up in Red Dead Online. That's that adversary mode. You just have to find the KKK guy. And
Except you're super weak.
I was going to
Yeah,
say,
okay,
yeah. The hand of God just comes and slams you down.
When I ran into the KKK,
which event have you seen?
I ran into them once so far.
Okay.
And it's when they're initiating the guy into it.
This is the one where they drop the cross on him.
Yes. So after the cross drops on him and all that, and people are starting to run away, I threw dynamite and killed a bunch of them.
Very nice.
My fucking honor thing goes ding, 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 ding.
It
ding,
went
ding,
up?
ding, ding. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Killing
If you kill the
KKK
KKK, it goes up. That's
increases
amazing.
your honor.
There's one. My favorite one is there's like four of them, and one of them in the black robes. Right, one's the leader.
Yeah.
And he's trying to light. They're trying to light torches for the rally, and they're like, "Man, this thing won't light." And one of them goes, "Fuck this!" And he throws it down. And he starts walking away, and the guy in black's like, "No, wait!" And the other two guys are trying to light it, and one goes, "I got it!" And as he looks up, his sleeve catches on fire, which catches the other dude on fire, and they're just like, "It's so good."
I was telling Chris I captured a video of this, but when I was leaving, I think it's Rhodes. There's that glitch with the fire, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I was leaving Rhodes with my horse, and I see these two like black horses, and they look really fucked up. I was like, "What is this?" And they're like sitting there like neighing, but they're not moving or anything. So I go to try to like touch the horses or get on them, and I get on fire. So I run away from the horses, I get the fire out, I get closer, and I realize they are two horses that are frozen in place, and they are charred, but still alive.
Oh, no.
Yeah, there are like black charred horses that are just standing there on fire.
Oh, that's awful.
I know.
Lord.
Everybody needs to start saving their clips of this game because
awesome.
I have a great clip of where I'm riding. My Arthur's like riding, and he's like doo 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 doo, and this like rabbit kind of goes off to the side, and you can tell like as my character I go to check to see if it's 3-star, and my Arthur's like this, and there's a sign, don't even notice it, boom, and my Arthur just gets clotheslined so hard that it fucks the game up. So the game's
like still following
the game
horse.
tries to follow the horse, and all of a sudden the camera like rubber bands back, and my Arthur's like head over heels falling onto the ground, and then he gets up and he goes, "Fuck."
Just takes off after the horse.
It's so good. I love how
awesome.
fucking dumb this game is.
great
All right.
All right. If you guys like what we do, please rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play Store, Spotify, wherever you like to listen to podcasts. You can subscribe to us on YouTube as well if you like listening to podcasts there. We are all on Twitter. I am at Darth Trey. Chris is at Short Change Hero with a 3 instead of the E in Hero. And Justin is at Justin T. Lopez. Show is produced by Everett. Give him a follow on Twitter at the56. Send him all your funny Red Dead clips because he just needs a good chuckle every now and again. And our theme song is done by Connor. Hire him to make your podcast theme song by going to downstreamstudios.com. Enter in promo code TwinStickRadio. And you won't get any discounts because
I was like, whoa.
There's no promo. You'll get
MeUndies.com/gay saddle.
saddle horns.
Saddle horns.
Oh my God.
Nice.
I do hope you can wear a shorty search and shorts in Red Dead
Are there
Online.
even shorts
summer
in
outfit?
Red Dead?
Yeah, it's like a summer outfit. I don't know. That wasn't a thing. I don't think. I don't
Summer
think people
Arthur.
had shorts.
What if you could wear like, oh man, I could. The hipster possibilities with shorts.
Well, so like we didn't touch on this at all, but I like I said, I really hope there's races. I really hope you can play, black,
like
Native
ethnicities,
American,
maybe?
Mexican, white. They have to have male and female. That'd just be stupid not to.
They will.
But I hope it's stuff like that is in the game because Rich is like, man, I'm really looking forward to play Red Dead Online with you. He's like, I'm already gonna name my dude Pinche Chorizo. He goes, are there sombreros? It's like, there might be. He's like, I'm going to look super Mexican. It's like, he's gonna, so he wants to have a sombrero with a poncho on. And his name's going to be Pinche Chorizo.
In Red Dead Redemption,
That sounds like Rich.
Sounds like Rich.
in Red Dead Redemption 1 online, you had to like level up to get better horses.
Yeah.
So everyone started out with like
with
a
a
mule.
donkey. Yeah.
You just have a sombrero.
He's just
and you're
never going to
riding a
level
mule.
up.
He said it's just you won't level up the riding. Yeah. I think, it'd be great.
I hope I can get like a Rapidash looking horse at some point.
Like with fire and shit?
Yeah. why
That's
not?
weird because it's not real.
Yeah. Neither is.
Yeah, you got nothing.
Nope.
Cowboys.
Cowboys aren't real.
I can't say anything about spoilers.
Yeah,
The
I
first thing
know,
that came
I
to my
know.
mind was a spoiler.
Yep. Sorry, Justin. Hurry up and play this fucking game and finish it so we can talk about it.
Sorry.
You should.
I'm one chapter behind this guy.
How far in chapter 3 are you? What's the last thing you did? Are you kidding me?
Fish.
I mean, what's the last story thing you did? Asshole. I fished.
What did I do?
He probably just started chapter 3.
I did.
That's why he won't open his mouth.
No,
He's like, oh, we just got to the camp.
Have you taken Jack fishing yet?
yeah, that was
Well, that was
that
in
was at
chapter
the old.
two.
Oh,
that was
so
at
that's
the-
what I'm trying to figure out where he's at.
No, like we went fish. Like I went fishing with Dutch, and
That's not what I asked.
I'm
I asked if you took Jack fishing.
yes, that was
Okay.
at the old camp.
Okay.
At this
So which
camp,
camp
we
are you
went
at now?
Rhodes.
Okay.
That we went fishing.
Got
So
I
you've done the first mission in Rhodes.
So you're on the Braith.
I did a train. No, yeah, I
You're-
did a train thing. Like those people like broke. They busted out of their little cage, and then they hopped on the train, and then I rode them down, and then
What?
I brought a guy in. You know.
Oh, he's working.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
working with the
yeah,
road
with
sheriff
the-
right
yep.
now. Okay, I know where you're at.
Yeah, you know.
Got it.
That's the first
You haven't-
mission in chapter
Yeah,
3.
you haven't even started the freaking meat of chapter 3 with the Braithwaites and the.
No,
Great.
no. I've heard.
I was going to call them the Podangles. That's not right.
But the two.
I mean,
two
that's not too
families,
far
yeah.
from Braithwaite.
I've heard talks
Okay,
of the
that's
families.
Good. That's good.
So, have you been messing around with that one girl? I'll tell
And
you
you were
what.
all, yeah.
Yeah, does that ever get a conclusion?
What?
The
The
Romeo and
Braithwaite
Juliet
Gray,
story?
yeah, it does.
Okay.
Good, very, very good conclusion.
Cool, because I was very disappointed that they basically like had one mission of that.
Yeah,
and
no,
it's like,
there's,
bye.
it concludes.
Cool.
Anybody have an idea of what's going to happen yet?
Of what?
Of just everything.
I think I told you, and you kind of said I was right, so I don't want to repeat it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
I'm not that far thinking.
You should be. This is a damn good story. You should
I'm
think
living
about
in the
it.
moment.
But you should think about it. This is something you need to think about and ruminate on.
Marinate.
Marinate. Let it marinate, Justin. Stick your penis in and let it go.
Okay.
Just
Gay
do
saddle.
Well,
it. Bandana hammocks. That's probably my favorite.
That should be our gang name.
The bandana hammocks? Oh my God, no.
Wait, you said no?
Yes, no. I do not want to be called. Hey, you guys heard of that gang? No, which one? They're the deadliest outlaws in the West. Who are they? Bandana.
Oh yeah, because it's so much worse than the Murfrey Brood and the O'Driscolls.
Well, those are actual names.
and here I wanted to end the podcast on an Excelsior, but you guys wanted to be talking about dicks.